Hi everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to another Tinfoil stream. Today is Tinfoil Thursday. I thought one wasn't enough this week, so how's everyone doing? Welcome to another stream. We're just chilling with Gina here in the beginning. Same rules apply as for Tinfoil Tuesday. We are doing Tinfoil Tuesday bingo, so feel free to get yourself a card using the stream bot, ! Bingo, no space. That'll get you a bingo card. 1 card per person, please. Yeah. If we get to a level 5 hype train, I'll of course get my tinfoil stuff on. So if we can do that, that would be cool. Other than that, that's about it. Sorry, I'm just entranced by Gina now, and I'm waiting for more people to come in. I know we're doing a little earlier than usual today, too. How did Daggerfall go? It was miserable. That game has not aged well. Azure Stone Dog says, first time catching live stream, really enjoy your content since I found it. Oh, thank you. It works with many, many songs. She's good, she gets it, you know? Also 4 p.m. stream, did we time warp to 2020? I'm doing a thing later. I'm going on Paulogia's stream later to talk about Disney and Florida and that bullshit, so I needed to do an earlier stream today. Okay, let's see what I missed in terms of bits and stuff. Communisme, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Tucker White with 50 bits says, and now for another edition of Twitter Theater. Joe Rogan, when did you feel, if you can remember, that you were supposed to be a girl? Blaire White, like 5. I remember being in preschool. Blaire is such a piece of shit. I hate her. Hypocritical bitch. AshyBoo74 with 50 bits says, my psychological research participant decided to not show up, so I get to spend the next hour watching your stream while I wait for my next participant. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you chose me. Avant Gardner with 100 bits says, thank goodness you've done this with the dance. Let's see. Tucker White with 50 bits says, also, oh, I read that one. Steve with a Q with 100 bits says, green screen artists, you know what to do. Bumble Homestead says, I am building a little city on Timberborn. Little beavers build a city. Tucker White with 100 bits says, has Blaire blocked you because you missed the best part? She has blocked me. Speedy Yoshi says, Chuds are mad that the new X-Men cartoon series will be focusing on modern issues. They're saying it's going to be dated in just a few years and saying the 97 version never focused on modern issues. Think about that. Mad the X-Men are focusing on modern issues. Good lord. Who's Blaire? Blaire White is a trans woman like myself, who uses her privilege as a very passing, pretty, white trans woman in order to denigrate other trans people to Republicans and say, like, no, I'm one of the good ones. All other trans people are disgusting. She's awful. She's just the worst. 75% to level 1 on the hype train. Yeah, she's bad. She's terrible. I got makeup on my new shirt. I'm gonna have to get one of... It's on a white part, so I can use, like, a bleach pen or something, but... sucks ass. Oliver's also in here because he is in timeout for attacking his sisters. So he gets to spend some time with me in the office away from his siblings. Tucker White says, I'm not blocked, so here's what she said. Imagine believing a 5-year-old can pick their gender, but 18-year-olds can't consent to student loans. I hate her so much. didn't mean to do that. That's not Gina dancing. There we go. 84% to level 1 in the hype train. Dish soap is better on makeup than bleach. I'm gonna go try that real quick, actually. Bumble Homestead says, get Tide wipes. Use those in the costume department all the time. I'll be right back. Oliver entertaining people. Watch Gina. It's still there. 0% to level 2 of the hype train. Sorry, Gina went off screen. Apologies. What did I miss? Speedy Yoshi says, X-Men, segregation and discrimination are wrong. Let people live their lives and be who they are without judgment, or else it creates a worse world for everyone and actively causes bad people. What should see? White, good guy, everyone else bad. Bumble Homestead says, get tight. Oh, read that one. Get Deformed says, have you seen this yet? The comments on the Kickstarter are already getting spicy. Oh, yeah. Challenge to prove the Earth is flat. I saw. Steve the Q says, Gina dancing to Danzy next. That would be too powerful, I think. 8% to level 2. Come on, Day Crew. I believe in you. Ashy Boo says, you know, Gina actually looks quite nice, especially for her age, and she seemingly takes good care of herself, her appearance. It's just a shame about her nutter. She's absolute nutter butters. True. Communisme says, first time chatting you live. Hi from UK. Sorry for the difficult to pronounce username. It's fine. Thanks for the bits. Cruelty 1 says, for X-Men, dancing Gina, an extra tinfoil day. Thank you. 11% to level 2. Let's try out Danzy. We'll try Danzy with Gina.
Both female voice and male voice in this song.
Hi, Ellen. You are
Elections, crucial
Do
time.
you understand why you had the timeout?
Fake as it can be. Barely even fear. There's somebody be
That song's not much of a bop. I think we need...
Oh, Christ. Hannah.
What? I was asked to do this, okay?
Well, fuck whoever in chat asked you to do that.
16% to level 2. Very slow hype train. Avant Gardner with 100 bits says, hashtag love Danzy. 2 minutes left. Don't let it die, chat. What's a good one?
fire. Filled with voter fraud, but he knew he would get away with it.
Get Deformed! Thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs.
He got
Choking Ouroboros with 500 bits says, Happy Thursday, everyone. Overthought says, throwing bits while Gina takes her jacket off is the closest thing I'll get to giving money to a stripper. KR Goss, thanks for giving 5 tier 1 subs.
Which is sensory-free speech. This election was stolen. This election was stolen. He's walking on fire. This country's walking on fire. Looks like legit, but he's illegitimate. So corrupt, he can ruin your lives. Better restore election integrity.
Monster Jr., thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs. Ashy Boo says, okay, see, the issue is that Gina has a sense of rhythm and beat and Dancy does not. True. Red Werewolf with 45 bits. 155% to level 5, we did it. We did the April sub goal too! Yay, everyone! We did it! Gina is a fusion of Peggy Hill and Dale Gribble. Red Werewolf, thanks for 11 months, says almost a year. Yeah. Almost a anniversary.
Everybody stares as the election goes by, cause they can see fraud evidence everywhere. Watchmen and badass in swing states. Everybody knew there's massive voter fraud. And it's an evil world. But they will let it go, baby, go, baby. This election was stolen. This election was stolen. He's walking on fire. This country is on fire. Thank you. See you next time. Stay tuned.
Beautiful.
Welcome
KR
to Dancy Sing Speaks. Parody Sing.
KR Goss says, I'm just sad my husband isn't here to be tortured by Dancy. I promise I love him. Alright, that's enough Dancy. We did it. Thanks, Gina. We appreciate it, as always. Gina's too good for us, quite frankly. Overthought says, Dancy blows the mic out and Gina blows her back out. Perfect. Speedy Yoshi says, who dances better, Gina or... Oh, it's just... I'm gonna have to say Gina. I think Gina's a better dancer.
Singing channel.
Hey, props to King of the Hill for doing an episode in the early 2000s about, they were confused. They seemed to think that trans people and drag queens were the same thing. But nonetheless, you know, I can appreciate the King of the Hill doing an attempt. I remember that episode. 183% of level 5. Just gotta wait a minute for the hype train to be done, and then we'll get started. Why does my ear hurt? That's weird.
Kind of. There's a flight that's considered impossible. I'm starting my own airline. Kind of. There's a flight that's considered impossible by some people, and that's this flight here, Buenos Aires to Perth. But I'm gonna charter a plane and fly some of you there. I'll explain it all. Coming up. Hey 74.
Why does my ear hurt after
If you don't
listening
know
to
me,
Dancy?
My
Fair.
name's Kelsey. I'm
Fair.
a 747 pilot. My channel, 74 Gear, is all about aviation. Now apparently some people in the Flat Earth community are not a big fan of my channel. They've called me a fraud, among other mean things, and you know I'm super sensitive, so it's time for Flat Earthers to put their money where their mouth is. In 2021, I made a very simple video offering how Flat Earthers could prove the Earth was flat or not without doing crazy laser science experiments. And that was made for everyday people who aren't scientists or engineers, something that anybody can prove for themselves whether the Earth is flat or not.
Age better than the 3 gays of a condo from The Simpsons, which did the whole every gay man wants to sleep with every straight man thing. Yeah.
Or not. Charter a plane, fly from Argentina down to Australia, and then they can see that we took off, turned south, and that would be it. Seems pretty simple and easy, right? But some people have written me saying I'm not keeping my promises of the challenge.
I'll put a link in the Discord when I'm live on the other stream.
Around the world.
Oh, you said you'd be pilot, and you said if we chose your company, but you won't even tell us who his company is. So this is the kind of thing, this is why I said hold these people's feet to the fire.
But I wanted them to organize the trip, not me. Listen to what I said. Let's get a bunch of flat earthers together that you get at your conventions. You can sell some tickets. Hey, you can even make some profit on it. It doesn't really matter to me, but you can charter this aircraft and go anywhere you want to go. I didn't say I wanted to organize your trip. I said you could organize a trip. You could sell tickets. You could make a profit. I didn't say, oh, let me organize your vacation, because I'm not a travel planner. I'm a pilot. And essentially what that means is when I go to work, I show up to my plane, everything's been fixed, the flight plan has been worked out for me. I show up, walk on the plane, verify that everything on the plane is safe, that we have all the documents that we need, and then I safely fly that plane from one place to another place. That's all I do. Not involved in tickets, selling stuff, handling bags, fueling up the aircraft, none of those things, and I'm not involved in organizing other people's travel plans, and that's why I said you could organize the flight. But apparently that message got lost, and they heard me saying, oh, let me organize your flight. I want to plan it all for you, and I'll fly the plane for you. That's what they heard. The Flat Earth community is able to organize Flat Earth conferences.
Yeah, they don't want to organize it because they know they'd be proven wrong. At least a lot of the people at the top of the Flat Earth stuff know it's a grift and are grifting dumb people into giving them money, time, and attention. Speedy Yoshi says, The Simpsons also had a weird joke with Smithers in the 2000s with Marge selling drugs at a yard sale and he buys estrogen saying it's for a friend who's trapped in the body of another friend. Like, Smithers isn't trans. Do they think all gay men are trans? I don't know. Nick says, Is he wanting to fly over the South Pole? Hi, Mr. Pilot Man. Do not do this. Do not do this.
Hey, have you ever...
I know why we don't do it, but he's saying specifically to do it to... He wants to do it to prove Flat Earthers wrong. And I think he's also pointing out, Flat Earthers don't really want to know the truth. They want to be contrarian.
Or whatever these are called. So I thought it'd be easy for them to coordinate their own flight. But I was wrong, and I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong, and it's all right. I organized it for you. Now I got a lot of different messages of, we should start here, I want to start here, we should end back where we started, we should do it like this, I want to do this. And so it got very confusing, but there was one consistent message that I got from everybody, and that was this.
Flat Earth on the bingo card.
Undoable flight to the Flat Earth community. It's Buenos Aires to Perth, Australia. Now I made this a straight line, but this is not a flight plan. So it took me a bit of legwork to find somebody who had the plane that had that type of range, the availability, the crews, because they're going to have to fly to Buenos Aires with a whole crew, land there empty, and then they're going to have that crew layover and then prepare for the flight back, which is going to be roughly 16 hours. Now, since I have a regular job that I sometimes vlog about, like in this one, I can't coordinate everything myself. So included in the costs are funds for me in order to hire some people to organize everything because I have a regular job, and hire a documentary crew because you better believe I'm going to document this entire thing. Now I have to give the Flat Earthers credit here because some of them do believe there is a massive wall there. So if they believe that this flight is impossible and they're willing to fly down to Buenos Aires and think about risking their life to get on a plane, get way outside their comfort zone and take off to fly south, I have to respect that. I have to respect anybody who's willing to do something way outside their comfort zone and have it recorded, like our friend Stella here.
Pull it back a little bit more.
To be clear, I'm the one that's chartering this aircraft and you're coming along as my guest, which means that I have the rights to record everything. You're getting no points, no lounge access, nothing. You're going to have to organize getting yourself down to Buenos Aires, and then you'll have to worry and make sure that you have the visa and necessary paperwork in Perth, and then worry about getting yourself from Perth to wherever it is that you live. Because I know there's flat earthers from all over the world, so I wanted to make it easy. All you have to do is get yourself to this one location, and then we're going to do one flight together. You can organize your hotels, getting to and from the hotel, and getting to the airport, and from the airport in Perth. You can organize all that stuff on your own because I'm not going to coordinate a 6-day around the world trip. I don't have time for that. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not flying the plane, and pilots don't control the flight path anyways. That's set up by dispatchers. So this is just a point-to-point line. I'm not saying that's the route we're going to fly. What I can tell you is that we're going to take off from Buenos Aires, we're going to be flying south, and we're going to end up in Perth. The flight's going to be roughly 16 hours, which is not possible on your flat Earth map. I think I read somewhere that someone said that it would be roughly 30 hours on this flat Earth map. Something that's important if you are going to plan to come and be a guest on this flight is that you purchase yourself a Southern Hemisphere compass, because the compasses in the southern part of the world are different than the northern part of the world for the round Earth people, but just for you flat Earth people, I would buy a Southern Hemisphere compass so that way you can see as we take off, we're going to be flying south, and you can prove that we're not on some extreme rocket ship shooting across the flat Earth globe. So I planned this flight in October because I wanted to give myself time to coordinate everything, give you all time to raise the funds necessary to do this flight, and also because in October it will be springtime in the Southern Hemisphere, and I'm not trying to go when it's extremely cold, so I'm planning it to be in the Southern Hemisphere time of spring of October. Because if I waited until November, December, people would say, oh, it's too close to the holidays, so I picked October. I thought that would give time for everybody, time for you to go spend time with your family. Middle of October shouldn't interrupt anyone's family plans, so they should be able to make it. Now, if you were planning on...
Sky Comet Goddess says they're still not going to believe it, though. No, of course they wouldn't.
Coming on this trip just...
No, there's no new CC today.
You could hang out with me. I want to remind you, I'm not even 100% sure that I'm going to be able to go, because I don't have vacation during that time, and I don't know what my schedule is going to be in October.
It's really a different compass. I imagine it's still a compass that works the same. A different side of the compass is just painted. Because all compasses point north and south. They're not really pointing north or south. What they're doing is they're aligning themselves with the magnetic poles of Earth. So we're close. I'm guessing this is how it works, because in the northern hemisphere, you're closer to the North Pole. The one that it aligns itself with is... I imagine it just has to do with which one you're closer to, which is the stronger pull for the compass. I'm not sure, though.
Try to go because I want to be there, and I want to be...
Any news on Call or Andrew Tate? No.
And see the documentary, and I really want to go to Perth because Perth has these cute little things as soon as I get there. And since there are some flat earthers that also have YouTube channels, I'm very excited to see their videos explaining how I was able to get a bunch of people in Texas to talk with an Australian accent and...
I'll take the call stuff off the bingo card, guys. I know we haven't covered them in a long time.
Convince their dogs to jump around on 2 feet.
I'll tell you this, for right now, if you got a bingo card with a bunch of call stuff on it, and considering we're not covering call, you can switch the bingo card.
I created a Kickstarter campaign.
No Peter either. Peter hasn't shown up in a while.
And the thing that I like about Kickstarter is that it's all or nothing. Meaning if we don't raise enough funds, nobody has to pay anything, myself included. The other thing you need to realize is that people are pledging money when they do a Kickstarter campaign. That means there will be people who will say, oh, I'll give $5,000, thinking that it will never get funded. And in doing so, that $5,000, when it comes time to pay up, there will be people who say, I'm not going to pay. And that means just because the target got met, it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone's going to actually commit and pay the money. Unless we have the money, we're not going anywhere. Now, it also means that until we have the money, I can't secure the aircraft. What I'm planning on is October 20th. I picked October 20th because, well, I honestly was going to pick October 13th because it's International Skeptics Day or something like that, but I picked October 20th. That's going to make it more easy and more likely for me to be able to bid my schedule in order to have that time off to do this flight. So that is when I'm planning to organize this flight. Now, I think it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway since I received a lot of messages about this, why I didn't organize this sooner. One, I thought you all were going to organize it in the Flat Earth community, but since you chose not to, I said, okay, I'll do it once Perth opens. Now, Western Australia has been closed for a long time. Ask any of the people that are in Perth or Western Australia, they've been trying to get out of prison for a while. And now that it's open, I wanted to give it a little bit of time to make sure it was going to stay open before I organized this flight. I was actually working on this last year, but then...
Opinion on Elon Musk and how likely he'll wreck Twitter. He's a big piece of shit. And I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Depends on how many changes he actually makes and how much is him just fucking being an asshole and trying to make noises for right-wingers that he's trying to grift. I don't know.
In Perth, I think they were going to open and then they decided not to open, and then now they did open, and so now we're doing this. Part of Australia...
Stone Corbell says, I was watching Julian stream a while back and he started playing a call video. I about fell out of my chair hearing, this is call for an uprising on a non-Hannah stream. Call was just complaining about getting banned again, so nothing interesting. It's funny that Call blamed me and my community for all his bans, and I haven't covered him in like 2 months at least, and he's still getting bans regularly. It's almost like it's not my fault he continually posts shit that's against YouTube's terms of service.
It was opened up, but this side, Western Australia, was not open, and Perth is in Western Australia. Now, October is a long time away, so if something changes, like a new strain of COVID comes out, or the borders close, or there's some seating capacity rules that get changed, I don't control any of that, just like I'm not controlling the...
Stromboli says, October 13th is 3 things: International No Bra Day, International Shades Day, and my birthday. Please ruin these flat earthers' worldviews on my cake day. I don't think this is going to happen.
Plane, I am just chartering this aircraft and organizing it and flying as a normal passenger. So if any of that stuff changes, I have no say or control over that. I also can't confirm the date because these people aren't going to reserve the plane and the crew until I pay some money, and no offense, but I'm not going to give them a huge chunk of money until you all have given me the money. Then I'll go give them the money to do this flight.
Speedy Yoshi says, how about the big conspiracy? How come Morbius did better than Fantastic Beasts 3? This is a conspiracy. The TERFs always tell me there's more of them than us. I know for a fact that everyone wants to see Fantastic Beasts 3. It sold 8 trillion tickets within the first hour. Because Morbius is the greatest film of all time, okay? Shut down the Oscars. Morbius wins every award.
So that date's not confirmed. Once all the money's been raised and the money's been paid, I'll go reserve the aircraft. They'll organize the crew and the plane and get all that stuff locked in. So that's when it's going to get firm. Luckily, you have a lot of people in the Flat Earth community, like this guy, with huge chunks of
the
cash
Shadow Wolf,
ready
thanks
to
for
donate for
following.
this flight to happen. I'm going to be honest, Flat Earth people. There's a lot of people who don't think you all will raise the money to do it. I'm hoping that you do, because I want to go on the flight. I want to make the documentary. I want to go to Perth. So I want to do all those things. I'm cheering that you guys are going to make it. If you're planning on coming on this flight just to hang out with me, just so you know, I want to be really clear. I've done these 16-hour flights
Cirrus
before.
told you about
I'm not
me?
a huge fan
Nice.
of them. I'm going to be riding as a passenger. which
Cirrus,
means I'm
what
gonna
a
eat my
mensch.
meal, which is going to be included in the price.
Ashy Boo
I'm going to
says,
eat my meal, and then I'm
I
gonna
love it when
try to go
Morbius
to
says,
sleep
it's
because I'm
Morbin
not trying to
time,
be
and
awake for
totally
16 hours,
morbed
and
everyone.
I already know
Me
the shape
too.
of the Earth because I've seen it.
Thanks
My
for the Prime subscription, by the way, Shadow Wolf.
advice to any of you that are planning to do this flight, and if you're planning to really seriously do it, I'd plan on going down to Argentina, spending a couple days there in Buenos Aires. It's a really cool city. Spend a couple days there. Then you're there, you're rested, you're ready to do the flight. You can stay up for the whole flight and look out the window and do whatever you want to do within reason, obviously, on the flight. Then you're going to land in Perth, and then when you're there in Perth, there's a lot of cool things that you can go see, like these quokkas. That's the thing that I really want to see out there, but that will give you a chance to rest, and then you can spend a couple days there in Perth, and then you can go to the other side of Australia before you fly out, because a lot of the international flights come out of Sydney. And because you're able to organize these types of meetings, I'm hoping you're able to organize and raise these funds. So this is the total amount of money that you need to raise. The link to the Kickstarter campaign is right there in the description. You can go in there and be a part of this thing, and you can either come ride the plane or you can donate just to see that it happens. Like I said, I'm going to make some money on it, but I also have money set aside for there to be crews to help organize it, because I'm not going to do it, and documentary people because I don't know how to do that. As you can see, the best I got is a camera in a hotel room. That's kind of the realm of my abilities of documenting something. So I'm going to get some professionals to put this thing together. I think it's going to be really cool. If you want to see the first Flat Earth video that I ever did, check out this video here.
They're not even close. Just for the record, it's not gonna happen. Unless some crazy rich person comes in. But no, he only raised $28,000. I do think that would be funny, but it wouldn't change Flat Earthers' minds anyway. So, doesn't really matter. Speedy Yoshi says, I can't believe Dumbledore said we have to make sure World War II and the Holocaust happen. Now I'm gonna go tell my house elf to go cook me dinner, but it's okay. He likes it. You get a free trip for 2 to any place, country in the world. Where would I go? If I wasn't afraid of how many TERFs were in the UK, I'd probably say England. Maybe Australia. I think Australia would be a fun trip. Profane Priestess with a link. Breaking news, Elon. Oh, I saw this article and I read it. I don't necessarily think that's true. I think that's wishful thinking. I think Elon Musk wants Twitter real bad. I think it's going to happen, even if it destroys Tesla's stock price further. Nick says, I want to do this just to see the quokkas. What are we going to start with? Okay. Since we enjoyed the dancing of Gina earlier, it only makes sense that we should start with her and her very serious concern about zombies, okay? I'm very concerned, as is Gina, so let's find out.
Hello. Now we got a serious subject matter to talk about. And you may say, Gina, it's a video game. What are you doing looking at video games called The Dying Light?
Which is a good game, by the way. I enjoy that game. It's probably not very expensive right now. I think the sequel's coming out. I'd recommend it. I'm not really a fan of zombie things, but zombie games are pretty fun, and Dying Light's a good one. Blackwing Hecate says, long time no see. Indeed. How you doing? Sky Comet Fallen says, don't kid yourself. You could send CC to the ISS and send him on a spacewalk, and he still wouldn't believe it. Yep. Blackwing Hecate, thanks for 18 months at Tier 3. That's another sub-baby. This sub-baby's name is going to be, This sub-baby's name is going to be Azimuth Aquatus. Azimuth Aquatus. And Blackwing Hecate says, I'm good, girlfriend is visiting. Hi, Blackwing Hecate's girlfriend.
Good night and good luck. And why are you talking about zombies? Well, I'm talking about zombies, and I'm talking about this video game. I never knew it existed.
Is Gina very hip on video games? This is a game that came out in the last, 6 years, I think. Thanks for the links, Eric. Science fiction is fact on the bingo card. Give me a minute and we'll see what she says. It's leaning that way, but I'm not positive yet.
I was happening to... I'm going to tell you what I was doing. You just wait right there. Wait 1 second. I'll tell you what I was doing. I had this laptop right here. Okay, I had this laptop right here. And I opened it up and I reinstalled like Windows 10 on it or something. That's what happened. And I wanted to see how it would go on the internet. Okay. And then somehow I ended up typing in Dying Light because I was listening to the book of Enoch that I read last night, and it talked about the first son died. Okay, so then I guess it was in the back of my mind, so I thought I'm going to type in Dying Light to see how well this old laptop right here, it's very old, it's a E560.
Why does she hold a laptop like she's never held a computer in her life? She's like, she doesn't know what to do with her hands.
How old? How? I'm serious. How? Well, it would surf if it was slow or not. And that's what it pulled up, the Dying Light. I said, what are they talking about a dying light for, you all? Let me come over here, you all.
It's because one of the major, gimmicks in the game is that in this universe's zombie lore, when the light is out, when it's daytime, the zombies are less powerful, and then at nighttime, when it becomes night, the zombies are much more powerful and fast and scary. So there's this mechanic where, during the day, you try and go out and do missions, you try and help other survivors, get resources, and then you try and get back before night, otherwise it gets really dangerous. Or if you're good at the game, unlike me, then you go out and do stuff during the night, and I think you get more XP and stuff for doing stuff during nighttime because it's more dangerous. I don't know. I don't go out during night in that game. I'm a wimp. But yeah, that's why. It's thematically appropriate.
We're gonna look at this. Let me put this to me. Let me put it to just the screen.
Yeah, there are both slow zombies and running zombies in the game.
Okay, we don't got very many people. Oopsie, I don't know what they're doing. All I wanted to do was just do live chat. Mucking fuddled. Hello. So I wanted to do live chat. Let's look at this because there's something going on. There really is. I don't play video games. Do I got this to me? Yeah, because I don't play video games. This is strange. Hello.
I'm surprised Gina isn't an epic gamer, okay? I can see her with a headset on, getting frustrated, breaking a controller, Wings of Redemption style.
Oh, Joseph. This is really strange. So we got it to me. So I'm gonna tell you what it first pulled up was this thing called Dying Light 2. Now get this. This is the
This is the sequel that's coming out soon that I think will probably be pretty good. The first one was fun, so I'm excited for number 2. Don't know why I'm talking about the video game. Doesn't really matter.
first thing I saw. So it says, let me put me in the short screen. It says Dying Light 2, Stay Human, is a 2022 action role-playing game developed and published by Techland, the sequel to Dying Light. And the game was released on February the 4th of 2022 for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation.
Oh, it's out already? How did I not hear about that? Wow, the marketing budget must not be very good for it. Yeah, it came out February. Is it good? Is it as good as the first one? I enjoyed the first one. Speedy Yoshi says, which fictional post-apocalyptic world would you have the biggest chance of surviving in? Dying Light, Fallout 4, Adventure Time, The Walking Dead? Adventure Time. I think Adventure Time. I think I'd fare better in a world that kind of exists on just absurdism. I don't know. I think I could do it.
PlayStation 5, 4, X.
Hannah gaming stream when? Yesterday. I played Daggerfall. I do want to do that every once in a while, though. It's kind of a chiller stream. Play games or something.
Xbox One, Xbox Series, a Nintendo Switch. The game received favorable reviews and praise, okay, but criticism for the story. It sold 5 million units in February of 2022. So I thought, why, when I hear the word dying light, I think about the light that's inside of me, the light that's inside of you, the light that is inside of humanity. As soon as I saw that word, dying light, that's immediately triggered the light inside of each and every one of us. Oh, it did. And I think there's something to this video game, okay? And you notice they had to say good night and good luck, and they had to throw in the zombies in it. Okay, they had to.
What do you mean they had it? It's a zombie game. Of course they threw zombies in it. That's the game it is. Man, this Gran Turismo 7. I'm telling you, they just had to throw those cars in there. They're trying to tell us something.
Throw in
Science fiction is fact on the bingo card.
the zombies. Now, I just want to say right now, this video may not be for everyone, and it may not be for you.
No one tell her about Pennywise's deadlights.
Okay, if so, you don't have to watch it, okay? But this video is going to be for somebody who might want to hear what's going on, because I want to hear what's going on. I really do. Hello there, cowboys. So now look at this. They don't want nobody commenting, but that's okay. We got it going. We're going to still go. You've been talked about for years as far as gaming goes. It's been talked about. Okay, it has. Okay, let's get over here. So we've got this dying light right here, and I've already opened it up. So this is the Dying Light 2. Look at this. Dying Light 2 is a 22. Okay, we saw this. I wanted to see the Dying Light 1. So this is what I did. Look. Dying Light is a 2015 survival horror video game developed by Techland and published by Warner Brothers. It's interactive entertainment. Well, I don't like to be entertained that way. For one thing, I don't.
Then don't play the game, Gina! Sky Comic Goddess says, I can totally see Gina being the crazy gamer grandma to offset the cute Skyrim grandma. Oh yeah, Skyrim grandma. She's going to be in the next Elder Scrolls game. I don't know if you guys saw, but they are putting her in the next Elder Scrolls. They need to release it already so she can play it. Makes me sad. I don't want her to not get to play the next Elder Scrolls.
Let me come over here so I can bring up the comments. And the game story follows an undercover agent who is sent to infiltrate a...
It was cool. They invited her to Bethesda, and they did photogrammetry on her. If you don't know, it's basically a process where they scanned her in 3D, and she's in the game as a character. I don't think she's doing the voice acting. I think they're having someone else do a voice of her, but still, the fact that she's in the game is cute.
Zone in a Middle Eastern city called Haran. And it features an enemy infested open world city with a dynamic day-night cycle in which the zombies are slow and clumsy during the daytime but become extremely aggressive at night. Okay, let me put this to me. And I'm trying to bring up the comments here for you all. I really am. Let me put this to me, you all. Oh, Lord have mercy, you all. I don't really watch too much zombie. I don't watch zombies at all, and I don't play video games, you all. I do not, but let's look at this. So we've got it right here. So it's an infested city, a Middle Eastern city. And this is what's interesting right here. So I went to a wiki fandom. Okay, I did. I went over here to this wiki fandom. Dying Light 2, Stay Human. Okay. So let's see. It had the achievements, the stories, the summary, the setting. Okay, look. This right here. Over 20 years ago in Haran, we fought the you-know-what and we lost. Now we're losing again. The city, one of the last large human settlements, is torn by conflict, and civilization has fallen back into the dark ages, and yet we still have hope. You are a wanderer with the power to change the fate of the city, but your exceptional abilities come at a price. Haunted by the memories you cannot decipher, you set out to learn the truth, and you find yourself in a combat zone, and you're holding your skills and all of this stuff, but you have to try to stay human. And you think, why you had to try to stay human? Because there's something...
Because they're zombies! It's a zombie game!
That happens to the people. Okay, there is. Look at this. They say, while the first game is set... Look, this is really interesting. While...
She spent 10... She takes like 10 minutes to say something that should take 30 seconds to say. It's insanity.
The first game was set in Haran, a city-state in Anatolia. The second Stay Human takes place in Europe in a fictional city called Villador.
M. Scheffler says, Gina, I know nothing about the content or the type of media, but I know for sure it's evil.
When I saw this right here, they said that
I didn't know she had a stroke. That sucks.
the city Haran was a fictional
Not Gina, if you're not reading chat, the Skyrim grandma lady.
city. They did. They said that this was a fictional city. Okay. Right here. So they say Haran is a city-state in Turkey and a major location within the game of Dying Light. Okay, and it is. It is in Turkey, you all. But
No, you
I'm
didn't
wondering,
miss
why would you
Chris.
put a city
He has nothing
like that? In one part, they said that it was fictional, but it is not fictional. Look at this. It is located here.
Okay, just because there's a location on the Earth with the same name as the fictional city doesn't mean it's a real place, right? Like the Haran that might exist in the real world is not the Haran that exists in the fictional game Dying Light. What are you talking about?
In Haran, why are they doing real world things is what I'm trying to understand. Why they want to do that? Okay, why do they want to do that? I hope I got this on me. Okay, I really do. So let me see this. So this is what happened. This is what happened. The list of major cities and urban hubs, some parts were very wealthy and affluent, while other parts were not prosperous, okay? Look at this. The population, okay? The population is unknown, roughly millions pre-fall. Unknown, roughly hundreds post-fall. They had the runners. Okay, they got all this wiki stuff. It's like this is playing out like it's a game, you all. Because...
It's a game! What do you mean it's like it's playing out like it's a game? It's a video game, Gina!
they had this thing right here in this video game is what happened. And what happens in these games, let me tell you what happens in this game. This guy in the Dying Light 2, he's going to look at the observatories, investigate, because he wanted to see if there was something there. There was a clue, I guess, to stop them for turning into whatever it is that they turn into.
Zombies!
Because they're human the majority of the time. but then when whatever happens to their body, they turn into something else because of
How did she read the entire Wikipedia page for Dying Light and failed to get the word zombie? How did she fail to understand zombies in a zombie game?
the you know what. Okay, and he gets to the observatories and they're all demolished. They are. There's nothing left standing. Nothing left standing at
Can we get Gina doing a Let's Play of Dying Light? I kind of want to see that now.
all. And in the daytime, they have these cities and the people, they live on top the rooftops, okay, of these tall apartment buildings. They don't live inside because the zombies are inside because they can't stand the daylight, okay? The ultraviolet light, something with the light, okay? See, and they got this dying light. The light of humanity is dying. That's what I think. That's why they did it. I really do think this, you.
She even just read about the UV light being a weakness of the zombies, and she still doesn't understand the thematic connection. Speedy Yoshi says, damn, video games and movies are prophetic. I hope the end of Cabin in the Woods comes true really soon.
Well, that's what I think. So they got this right here. You're trying to stay human. See, look at this. Look at this. The zombie outbreak
CNN Plus, thanks for following.
ended
Funny name.
in Haran with the death of all the city's citizens with no reported survivals. And there was a global relief effort and a you-know-what right here and a you-know-what for that thing, for this thing in that city. Okay, it was. And you know what they called the event? They called it the fall. The fall. That's what they called it. The fall. Okay. So the human civilization, look at this. By 2036, 15 years after the fall, much of the world's population has been wiped out. Human civilization has been reduced to a handful of scattered human settlements, with the walled fictional European city of Villador being one.
There's still 20 minutes left, Gina. What are you doing?
Villador. I want to type in.
Nick says, I want to see Gina try out BLJs. I don't know what that is. Sweetie Yoshi says, can Gina stream Hoonie Pop? Just not on Twitch. I don't know what that is either.
Villador. It's simply known as the. So in the year 2014.
Okay, I'm done watching Gina read a Wikipedia page about a video game that she doesn't understand.
Good morning. I went over here to the webcam taxi and I was looking at this SpaceX. They work all through the night. I'm wondering.
Someone should show her mockumentaries. That'd be a hope. Yeah. This is Spinal Tap.
Why this literally looks like to me a massive mothership. And it's enormous. I've never seen a reflection like this. I've never seen.
Hannah's a normie? I know. I have relations with a real human woman. What's wrong with me? Doesn't understand how cameras work on the bingo card. Alright, let's move on from Gina. We get it. Honey Pop is Bejeweled, but hentai? I hate Bejeweled. Why would I want to play Bejeweled, but with hentai? You can get hentai without Bejeweled. Mr. Sir Knight Kingyo says, hi Hannah, long time no see. Here's a lady who believes in predictive programming and has some kind of hatred for Emma Watson. Oh god. What?
Emma Watson is an insufferable cunt. She is one of the most annoying virtue-signaling bitches out there. She betrayed J.K. Rowling, even though her whole career relied upon...
Holy shit! This has got to be an angry TERF, right? This has got to be a super angry, like, jilted TERF. What the fuck?
...upon Hermione in Harry Potter. Yet, she stabbed J.K. Rowling in her back. All because J.K. Rowling believes in biology.
I don't think so. Like, I don't think if J.K. Rowling came out and was like, you know, I think chlorophyll and chloroplasts give plants the ability to get their own energy from the sun. I don't think anyone would be canceling J.K. Rowling for that.
And no one's even bringing up the topic of how she's probably a tranny herself.
Ooh!
And
Transvestigation on the bingo card / transphobia. Hydrate.
say what you will, but she has a boy body now. I don't know if that's just because
Nick says, holy shit, we found Bizarro vegan teacher.
she's mostly vegetarian, mostly vegan, and her body's just falling apart. And you know what happens when you're vegan? You turn into a fucking anorexic 12-year-old boy with a goblin chin, gray skin.
Why is this lady so, like, militantly angry at vegans? That's weird.
Deep crevices and wrinkles, premature aging, and all that shit. So, no, she's probably not really a transgender. She's probably a woman. But the fact that she looks so boyish now in comparison to a few years ago proves that even though she's not fully
Probably could report this, yeah? Probably.
vegan, she's a chegan. Even though she's not even vegetarian, she's actually an omnivore who eats sustainably and eats cruelty-free. So she's
Okay, then in what way is she... What?
a virtue signaling people for eating meat if it's not cruelty-free, for eating meat if it's,
So she's not a vegan then?
you know, from a factory farm. All the regular people who need corporate farms in order to survive, they're all fucking evil people who don't understand cruelty-free living. And so I just want to know, why does she look that bad? She's not even a real vegan. They catch her eating pizza. She
There's vegan pizza.
gets quoted saying that she eats butter and eggs and things like that.
There's vegan butter and vegan eggs, but yeah, if she's just doing like a cruelty-free thing, which would be good, that's fine. She wouldn't be a vegan though. That would just be someone who's trying to not, you know, get things from factory farms or products of factory farming. Chibbers the Squirrel says, wow, she really doesn't like Emma Watson and has a lot of tinfoil. She's like polar opposite of the spirit science guy.
So why does she look so terrible? This is the modern
Ah, yes. Emma Watson looked terrible there. This is the saltiest video I've seen in a while. I think this is the most salt I've seen since the last, the quartering Brie Larson video.
woman. This is because this is how modern women think. Modern feminist women. And I'm just going to say feminazis because we all know true feminism has its place, but it is not here in America. And it
Oh, okay.
is not here for Emma Watson. She basically is a dude. She has nothing to
Nick says, why does she look so terrible? Probably because she disagrees with you, you, parentheses, lovely human being. Speedy Yoshi says, if eating vegan made you more boyish and eating soy made you more feminine, trans men would all be boys and trans women would all be eating soy. Yeep. We all, I don't get it. Like, if soy, these, like, weird, turfy, transphobic, like, truisms about this stuff, if I thought that soy would make me more feminine because of phytoestrogens, I'd eat nothing but soy.
oppress her. What is oppressing her? How does she have the right to feel oppressed? It's
Instead, I have to pay for estrogen.
ridiculous. Anyway, my whole point is that this is a mentality that modern women have. I see this happening with so many women who surround me, especially older women who are so scared of getting fat that they eat very strictly, like, you know, salad and chicken or salad and salmon every day, or lettuce wraps, and, you know, take out all the carbs, take out all the meat, eat nothing but vegetables like a fuck.
What are other people's, like, what business are other people's dietary choices of yours? It's so weird.
Rabbit. They really believe that eating copious amounts of
Baha says she's basically a dude, but also assigned sex at birth is the only biological truth. Hey, whatever works for her argument in the moment is what's true, okay?
raw food is good for them. They don't see how their stomachs are bloated, that they're Leaky guts are caused by
Leaky gut syndrome. Oh my god, that's a thing Jillian from Jilly Juice believes. That's an alt health like bullshit woo thing.
the tremendous amount of vegetables, raw vegetables that they're eating. They don't understand half the time they feel so bloated is because of all of the vegetables that you stuffed yourself with. And if you're not going to be eating meat or carbs, and you're just going to be eating like
Parakeet Point. Thanks for following.
a fucking rabbit,
Only rabbits eat vegetables. Fact.
then what is the point of enjoying your food at all? What is the point of eating at all? You might as well just
Look, I like carbs too. You put a plate of Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits in front of me, my day is ruined. I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna eat every biscuit and then I'm gonna ask for more, okay? I get it. Biscuits are delicious. I like carbs, I like meat, I like cheese. But also, I don't give a shit what other people do. If you want to eat all vegetables, awesome, good for you. That's the healthier choice, quite honestly, as long as you're getting all your macronutrients.
get some Soylent Green or some fucking protein shakes. You might as well just start doing the whole Slim Fast diet, Atkins diet, or whatever. Just be miserable.
Yeah, that's not how women work on bingo. Oh shit, I did mention cheese. Well, that's on the bingo card too.
Eat miserably.
I didn't even need to be goaded into that one. That's on me.
But don't sit there chomping on your fucking kale, virtue signaling everyone around you as if you're doing what it takes to get better, as if you're doing what it takes to be a superior human who can transcend.
I think this lady is projecting a lot of her own insecurities onto Emma Watson, a person who doesn't even know she exists, and saying, like, basically, Emma Watson makes me feel bad about myself, so let me yell about why Emma Watson shouldn't be making me feel bad. Like, lady, you can feel however you want. Who cares? Chill out.
Nature. No. Women, when they get older, are supposed to be thicker. The older and older you get, it is vital to have healthy fats. My great-grandmother was so healthy. She had a thick build.
I'm happy for your grandmother. That's fine. Okay? It's weird too that you could be a fat vegan. Oreos are vegan. If you sat there and ate Oreos all day, you'd still be a vegan, but you could be fat. What are you talking about? Speak the Truth says she sounds like Hans's wife, but also has the Jillian way of speaking, so word salad. No, I don't think this is word salad yet.
She was strong.
Would I eat this soy cheese? I'd try it. I've tried vegan cheeses before. Some of them have been better than others. I've never tasted a vegan cheese that I was like, wow, that tastes just like cheese. I think the most I've ever gotten is like 70% of the way there. But you guys know I love cheese, so. But yeah, vegan cheese I thought tasted just as good. Then I'd probably eat that. Stone Corbell says, this is like that video that explained why people get defensive when you say, I'm a vegan, because they infer you're also saying, and you're bad because you're not. Speedy Yoshi says, excuse me, I like how TERFs are always like, trans activists will objectify women and then be over here studying other women's bodies and pictures of them in bikinis to see what they can see and yelling at them for not being women if they don't dress and act how they want. Nick says, can't be word salad because that's rabbits. That's for rabbits and she's not a rabbit. True. Ad hominem on the bingo card. Yeah, sure.
She was still cooking for 100 people at her family parties.
So I could be vegetarian? I guess in theory. It wouldn't kill me. I wouldn't want to, though, if I'm being honest. I like meat.
In this tiny little house, she was able to learn the piano at the age of 90 years old. Learn English via VHS at 90 years old. Do you think that that's a lacking brain? Do you think she's missing healthy fats? No. So
what the fuck is she talking about? Bittergrin says, there's a place near me that has great vegan mac and cheese. The cashew onion sauce doesn't taste anything like cheese, but it's still amazing. Yeah, I've tried vegan mac and cheese once and I didn't like it very much. Baja loves it, and that's awesome. But just like when I see mac and cheese or something that looks like mac and cheese, my brain expects a pretty specific flavor. and vegan mac and cheese is just a very different thing. So, like, if I didn't have the association, I might like it, but my brain just goes like, no, that's not what that's supposed to taste like. Does that make sense?
Now, for example, when I see how my grandmother eats like a freaking bird, I always bring up her mother. Said, your mother didn't eat like this.
I'm happy about your grandmother. That's fine.
You need to eat like your mother did. But
who goes over to their parents' house and is like, Mom, you need to eat like your mother. I'm gonna police your food. Stone Corbell says she could have remained that sharp into her old age for any number of reasons. It's impossible from this incredibly vague story to determine why. It could have been diet. It could have been a ton of other factors. Yeah.
no, everyone, even our elders now, are basically brainwashed to believe certain things, like eating too much red meat can cause high blood pressure and cancer.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it can. Like, what? I'm not telling you can never eat red meat. I'm not telling you can't have it for every meal. It's a free country. Do what you want. But, like, don't be mad at information being given to you. Bittergrin says, maybe just let people eat what they want. And Bittergrin says, that's to the women in the video, not you. Oh, I know.
And heart disease. Lies.
What do you mean lies? You can't just look at a series of, like, informed facts based on studies and disagree with them just because it's, like, inconvenient to the things you like. What? Speedy Yoshi says, my sister could eat, like, 50 meals in a night if you gave them to her, but she's still as skinny as Slender Man on a diet. What's this lady's point? And Quebeca Lynn says, it's almost like everything is better in moderation.
People are actually...
Like, let me put it this way. It would be great if I could sit down and eat, you know, whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and not, you know, have any unhealthy repercussions. Not the case. That's why I'm currently and have been on a diet for quite a while, because I'm trying to continue to lose weight, because I was so high up in weight that, like, it's taking a really long time to get down. But, like, it's just the reality. Deluding myself into believing that unhealthy choices are healthy just because I like them is stupid and non-productive. It's counterproductive to what I'm trying to do. And again, if you don't care, do you. It's your life. I don't care. I'm not here to police your body or what you put in it or your choices. Not my business.
Believing eggs.
It's just weird that instead of her just saying, what she should say is, hey, I recognize that these things might not be the best for me, but I love red meat, and I love whatever else, so I'm going to eat it anyway. That's fine. I'm happy for you. Enjoy your red meat. Red meat's good. I like it too. Sky Comet Goddess says, lady, healthy fats aren't in red meat. They're in fish, nuts, and legumes. You idiot. Red meat has been linked to shorter life, not the other way around. And Freaking Out says, I love how these people are like, I don't like vegans because they want to force me to stop eating meat. Then are like, you're a bad person if you don't eat meat.
Are high in
You often watch older VODs. I've noticeably lost weight. Thank you.
cholesterol. Yeah, lies. People actually believe that broccoli has more protein in it than chicken.
I mean, I don't know the reality on that, but, like, if that's been tested and it's true, cool. Don't know, though.
Right. I just read where kale came from. Kale was like this...
Let's see. Does broccoli have more protein than chicken? Chicken is an excellent source of protein and has 726% more protein than broccoli, so that's not true. So I don't know where she's even getting that. By weight, broccoli has way less protein, but it must have some.
Experiment.
Broccoli's delicious. I love broccoli.
It's not...
The only, I think a lot of people had a problem with kids where, like, their parents would steam a lot of vegetables for them and they'd come out kind of bland. But, like, and I haven't done this in a while. I need to do this because I used to love this. Some nice, like, roasted broccoli with, like, just some, like, salt and, like, maybe a little oil on them. Really, really good.
Not even a real plant. It's kind of like apples, how they made apples more sweet. They genetically modified them. And kale was given a...
I used to put cheese on broccoli as a kid, but honestly, I don't know.
I think, to a bunch of sheep.
If I put anything, I'd probably do the roasted broccoli and then like, the salt and pepper and oil, and then I might grate a little bit of like Parmesan or something, but just a little bit. I don't need like a bunch of cheese sauce or anything.
It was supposed to be food
Yeah, I mentioned cheese earlier anyway.
for sheep or something, or goats, and a bunch of them were poisoned and died. So they had to stop feeding it to their animals. And
Nick says, I'll just say things I disagree with a mocking voice. That'll debunk it. Bazinga!
guess who they started feeding kale to? Oh, that's right. Human beings. This is something is new. Kale was not something that you would hear of back in the 90s. I never heard the word kale. Never.
Okay!
So it's a new thing. It's marketed. If vegans think that they're rebels, if they think that they're the ones going against
Does she think only vegans eat kale?
the man, then they're in for a rude awakening when their
Wait, does she think vegans are only vegans because they're contrarian?
bodies start falling apart and everything that they read and everything that they believe that they know turns out to be a fucking lie. Wake up. Even you people who just eat like nothing but salads, chicken once a week, fish once a week. Maybe when you're young you can get away with that, but the older and older you get, the more important it is.
I don't understand what this lady thinks historical diets have been either. Like, human beings did not necessarily, develop with having unlimited access to things like red meats and like whatever. And if they had anything, it would be like, I don't know, a broth made with, the bones and stuff of leftovers. Like, people were not sitting down and eating steak every night historically. Like, humans eat a lot of plants because historically it's been what's been available to us. And I'm not always saying, like, hey, what's old is better, but the idea that, like, humans are evolved to eat mostly, like, red meat is just ahistorical. Like, eat a goddamn plant, lady. Your poops must be awful. Sky Comet Goddess says, wake up and eat Big Macs every day like me.
Is for you to eat right.
I don't know why the Big Mac is the McDonald's, like, signature burger. Quarter pounders are much better. Why do I want a burger with a third bun? Ew.
You want to be an old lady or an old man with your grandchildren, able to keep up with them, pick them up, cook for them, play piano, learn different languages, eat meat, eat eggs, eat salmon, eat chicken. You don't need to rely off of vegetables. You can actually eat something satiating that will last you for your entire life, that will be a part of your reserve, that will help you function properly.
This lady versus vegan teacher would be epic.
That will help you feel your best. Everyone wants to act like the worst way of eating is the standard American diet. I disagree.
I mean, the standard American diet's pretty bad. We have, like, the highest rate of obesity in the world for a reason. Like, come on. Speedy Ochi says, a turf not knowing about history or science and being condescending. I'm shocked, I tell you, shocked.
Standard American diet is way healthier for you than fucking veganism. And I know what I'm saying. I would
source?
rather be poisoned by sugar than to be deprived of meat. Okay? Go vegan and die.
Killjoy says medieval peasants in Europe ate bread and beer and bacon and root veggies, all things they had access to or could be smoked and stored for a long time. They did not have the resources to eat cow or chicken. Those were luxury foods. History, yo.
Go vegan and become
Now I
a
want
crusty,
bacon.
dried up version of yourself. Go
Now I want bacon and potatoes.
vegan and become a zombie. Become a carcass, a cadaver. So you women, or even men, who are so afraid of a little bit of body fat that you deprive your bodies of essential nutrients just to look skinny.
you can hit your macros while still not overdoing it on calories. Why do you think you need to, like, eat way more than you need to get all your macronutrients? You're fine. Moira Soma says, fun fact, all types of kale, from cauliflower to pak choi, come from the same little plant that grew beside the roads in the Roman Empire. Oh, cool. Sky Comet Goddess said, I disagree. And there you have it, folks. Nutritional science defeated.
As if men are attracted to skinny women. Well,
Why are you basing what you want to look like on the, like, affirmations given to you by men? What kind of backward shit is that?
why and since when? Why does everybody believe? Why do all women believe? Okay. Why do all women believe that men...
Wait a minute. The TERF gets her sense of self-worth from the opinions of men? I'm shocked. Sky Comet Goddess says she's insecure about her weight 100%. I smell a fat pride activist, or as I prefer to call fat supremacists. Speedy Oji says, how much do you want to bet she eats her red meat raw? She probably just bites the cow while it's still moving.
Men like
No, there wasn't a threat.
skinny women. It beats me because I know for a fact that's not true. Men love thick women. Men love breasts. Men love booty.
You can have those things and not be thick.
They can handle a little bit of belly fat. They're not grossed out by that. No one's saying...
Look, again, I agree that people don't need to look like movie stars and models and stuff. I agree. I completely agree. But she's overcorrecting so hard to, like, hating this person for being vegan and hating vegans in general. It's so weird.
to be obese, but if you're a normal average woman and you're like a size 6 to an 8 to a 10 to even a 12, depending on your body type, give me a break. Stop believing what the media tells you that you look fat. The media wants you to believe that you're supposed to look like an alien, a long, lanky, bony, tranified fucking alien. Women do not look like this. Women are curvy. And men love curvy women. Women are the ones who believe that men don't like fat. It's insane. My boyfriend's always grabbing onto my little love handles.
I don't need to know.
I mean, come on. He loves me.
I'm happy for you. That's
that
fine.
he appreciates me so much more. There's so much more for me to hold on to than just being stick and bones. I was frail. It was sad. How can any man hold a woman like that and think of her as a woman and not think of her as a 12-year-old skinny skeleton kid? That's how I felt. I felt that way in my husband's arms. I felt that way. Too skinny, too frail, too...
I just feel really bad because this is clearly coming from a place of immense insecurity from her, and it's like, you gotta find healthier ways to deal with this.
I couldn't sit on his lap. Is that what you want for yourself? If vegan or not, if you're an omnivore who eats this way, wake up. Stop being afraid of red meat. It's ridiculous. Stop being afraid of carbs. Fucking ridiculous. So this little twat, Emma Watson, virtue signaling everyone, telling them, oh, wear vegan leather. Yeah, buy plastic. That's good for the fucking environment, right?
Subscribe! Anti-vegan. Oh my god, she's going on my chud list. I love her. She's great. How terrible. That's from 3 weeks ago. Oh my god, she's too good. Anyway, back to conspiracy stuff. Sorry, she's just like nutty. What a nut. Alright. Moving on. No, not line between Chud and tinfoil. She didn't really tinfoil. That was basically all Chud stuff. Oh, we gotta do a bingo check real quick, actually. Hannah mentions cheese. That's it for page 1. Flat Earth for the airplane video. Transphobia, transvestigation. Send her channel to vegan teacher. The showdown will begin. Fiction is fact for the video game thing. Oops. Whoop. And I think that's it. Just double checking. We'll throw a that's not how women work for some of the stuff from the last video too. It wasn't very tinfoily, it was basically just Chud stuff, but hey, we watched it on this stream, so I'd say it counts. Okay. Look up most targeted citizen for the most paranoid person on the planet. Okay. One sec. Stephen J. Neptune Man, thanks for 13 months. We did actually have ad hom too. Ad hom on the bingo card. So this guy. Does he just think everyone's stalking him?
Hey, you guys, to appeal on the most targeted citizen.
Why can you guys not see this? Hold on. Weird.
Haven't been on in a while, and I must
Let me try and fix
confess
that.
I have absolutely, thoroughly enjoyed it.
There we go. Wrong screen.
Making this video is not something that I want to do, but as if my life wasn't in danger before, when you go silent and stop giving information and you stop showing your life on a daily basis, when you go quiet, that shakes the feds up. That makes them uncomfortable that they can't spy on you from your own words. So this video I'm making reluctantly because I'm just tired of getting drugged through the internet.
This is super sad. Another example of our mental health system being awful.
I am tired of being attacked. I am tired of all the hate, vile comments. I am tired. Even now that I haven't posted in a month and a couple days, still prank calls threatening my life, still comments.
Coach Red Pill showed up. He got arrested by the SBU. He got his stuff confiscated, so he can't stream right now. And he's under house arrest in his hotel room.
Attacking me, still being slandered and libeled. It's all still happening even when I go quiet. But I'm making this video in hopes that it's going to save my life and my family's life. I've told you guys about the vision that I've had since I was a child about getting shot 3 times, 2 in the chest and 1 in the stomach, and then everything goes black. Now, this isn't a dream I had 1 time. This isn't a dream I had 2 times. This is a dream I have 4, 5, 6 times a year for the past 30 years. The last time I was on, I told you guys about being, I would say, unlawfully trespassed from the property across the street. where the cops solicited a trespass for a crime not committed. Anytime I deal with this, think about this, just like with the case about getting my motorcycles back, I cannot think about these things because just
When was this?
thinking about this.
2 months ago? Oof. I'll save him. I don't know how often we'll look at this guy because, like, this is sad. This is profoundly sad. He's clearly got schizophrenia or some other paranoid delusions going on.
Hey, you go! And put the sandpaper in it, took it back to Home Depot. And she's like, oh, no problem. She said, I'll have to give you a gift card. That's fine. She said, oh, no, let's not do a gift card. She said, just go get what you want. We'll just exchange it straight out. So I go and I get what I needed, bring it back. She's like, oh, well, that doesn't match. I said, what do you mean? She said, the cartons don't match. She said, this is a 5-pack and not a 2-pack. I said, man, but it was a 2-pack that I bought. I said, I may have confused the wrappers. I may have put it in the wrong wrapper. I said, but I called the company and they said that the rolls are defective. Take it back to Home Depot and they would eat the cost because I called Diablo yesterday. And I kept trying to tell her, ma'am, I bought a 2-pack. I think I put it in the wrong wrapper. The wrapper was destroyed and I put it in a different wrapper. And I didn't think anything about it. And it was searing my spirit at the time when it was going on. The Lord finally.
All right, let's move on to something else. Hey, what's Jillian Epperly been up to? This one's gonna be interesting. I know the title of this one, but I'll let it be a surprise.
So, yeah, I just came back from a walk with my doggie. She was a little restless last night. Her demons were just rearing their ugly heads. So, I know that when the demons are leaving, they make quite a ruckus when they leave. And so, yeah, some of the mucus come out of her back end.
Save that doggo? Yeah, I'm guessing the years of feeding that dog Jilly juice have finally caught up to the puppo, unfortunately.
Awake, running the circuit, it's fine. You know, it is what it is, and she goes to sleep, and then she woke up with me this morning, actually pretty early. And so, I was posting stuff, like little memes and whatever. And anyways, so, last night I posted something about how do you think AIDS was developed? Because the virus, all these viruses out there were derived from some type of remedy and some type of drug and pharmaceutical. And yes, the body built a defense against it, and the reason why it is not a drug anymore, but it's a virus because the person released the mucus into the atmosphere. So,
yes. You know how when you take Tylenol and then you sneeze out Tylenol particles and everyone else catches the Tylenol. That's not how things work. Overthought says, who's a good boy? Does the power of Christ compel you? You'll get a treat if the power of Christ compels you. Good boy.
So it took something that was personal to them, again, like that specific remedy, like that specific pharmaceutical. The body built a defense system against it, and the mucus holds that programming. Now, when someone else picks it up, it's not protection to them. Because you think, oh, they got someone else's drug against, certain things. So here's the thing. Let's go a little bit more technical so you understand.
Word salad, yes. That's not how science works. Not yet.
When someone has a transplant and they get some kind of immune suppression drugs, let's say like cyclosporin, one of the most strongest drugs out there against the immune system. So it actually suppresses the immune system, suppresses the T cells. You could say block, suppress, destroy, eat, however you want to say it. Neutralize.
Not vaccine shedding yet on the bingo card.
There's so many words to say the same thing. It's however picture you want to paint, okay? But the cyclosporin was meant to block the immune system. So that way the body doesn't reject that foreign object. people are like, "Oh, what the whole thing with the J juice, Jillian? You think that if I have a transplant, I do J juice, will the J juice purge it out?" Yeah, soon. Well, I won't say purge it out right off the bat, but I mean, I'm sure the body has to go through a process, and it'll help. And don't quote me as this like for gospel, but sure.
For those who don't know, Jillian Epperly, the woman here, invented something she calls Jilly juice, which is a gallon of salt water mixed with kale that she then ferments. And then has people drink like a gallon of salt water a day, and she thinks it will cure all diseases, it'll help you regrow limbs, she thinks it'll cure your gayness or transness because she considers those things diseases, and it gives you wicked diarrhea. Yes, it gives you really, really bad diarrhea that she calls waterfalls. So yeah. It apparently smells awful because it's just rotten fermented cabbage water with salt. Salt the gay away. Hydrate.
It's not going to destroy you while it's trying to live if you keep supporting it, but it'll be rather painful. So I wouldn't recommend anyone.
Can you order it online? No, you have to make it yourself. She gives you the recipe and then you have to make it.
Doing something like J juice that will activate your immune system.
Oh yeah, she thinks it, quote, cures, her words not mine, autism.
If you hold, like, heart transplants or whatever. So I'll be quite honest. Not everybody can do J juice because it is uncharted territory in some instances, and...
Have I made it for fun? Your definition of fun is very different than my definition of fun. Bittergrin says, wait, cabbage? Does the last woman know about this? I don't think so.
In most cases, the person wouldn't be able to handle that transition. So anyway, so let me go back to the original point about cyclosporine. It suppresses the body's immune system so it doesn't reject the transplant. And so when you're taking immune suppressing drugs, your body, will take it on, and who knows?
No, I haven't. Although, I'm planning on doing a subathon next month. Maybe the ultimate subathon goal is drinking not a whole thing, obviously, not even a whole glass because it's hazardous to health, but like trying a sip of Jilly juice. That might be funny.
How long it'll keep suppressing the immune system, but then it's still also building a defense, an army against that drug. And so when you have one side of your body taking in information that is going against the natural processes of the other side of your body, you're going to have a war of plus and minus. You've just created a war. And so,
is Jilly juice vegan? Yes, but I would never put Baja through that.
So you're building up defenses against that, but you're taking that drug that's going to keep a streamline of soldiers suppressing the immune system.
Do people fall for this? Oh yeah, she went on Dr. Phil, and some of the people that followed her, one of which I believe had a stroke that was perhaps allegedly associated with the sodium poisoning brought on by the Jilly juice. Yeah, so there are people who follow her. I saw, someone sent me a while back a thing from her, like, private Facebook group that used to exist. I don't think it does anymore. Where someone was feeding their dog Jilly juice and then the dog died. Like, it's bad. People give Jilly juice to their kids.
Might take a minute.
And it's fermented. It's fermented. I've seen a video of a kid who was drunk on Jilly juice, is what I'm trying to say.
For your body to build up a defense against it. But in the meantime, as your body builds up a defense against the cyclosporin, the
like a 5-year-old
suppressant for that transplant, then that gets purged out into the population. And when certain drugs with certain specific
Sunday Suits, thanks for following,
intentions are being purged out into the population.
Has she been sued? I believe her states, not like an actual lawsuit, but her states, some kind of like regulatory body from her state basically reached out and said, you cannot make these health claims about Jilly Juice. Period. Because she used to go around saying, like, oh, it can cure cancer and all this stuff, which you obviously can't claim about your product when it's not FDA tested. So she stopped doing that, at least publicly.
That
Yeah, that's why she doesn't sell it. She just gives people the recipe, and that's not illegal. She's not selling people the final thing.
That's what creates the viruses, because that's a person's defense system now being released with a specific programming from that drug, from Big Pharma, from the holistic industry too, because people are taking the walnut oil and the peanut, all the different essential oils and extracts and whatever. And so all of those types of little microbes that the body has now developed a weapon against, and also there are specific intentions that are targeted.
What about incest immortality guy? We can look him up. I think I'm done with Jillian. She just kind of rambles. What's that guy's name? Dr. Gamble says, the worst kind of quack is the one that doesn't even know they're a quack and refuse to be told otherwise. Alex Chu is his name. How about this prophetic dream video?
Sup, this is Alex Chu. Coming at you with another episode. This episode, just want to talk about another prophetic dream of mine. Ukraine is going to use a nuclear warhead. It's gonna not Ukraine.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ukraine doesn't have nukes. They gave them up in a treaty they signed with Russia in the 90s. And Russia, according to that treaty, promised to never invade Ukraine. So that worked out great. These are the immortality rings that he sells. I will wear them for this video, so I will be immortal for the duration of this video. No one can kill me.
Russia is going to drop a nuclear warhead, okay? But before I talk about that, I want to tell you my name's Alex Chu. I'm the guy who invented physical mortality rings. These are rings that you put on your small fingers during sleep. You wear them, you don't age anymore. You become physically immortal. For example, I'm already 51. See, I'm still pretty skinny.
That's always what he does. He's always like, I'm 51, but I'm not fat, so I must be immortal. Like, Alex, you just don't eat too much. It's fine. That's great, but you're not immortal.
51-year-old, see? The belly is really smooth. That means I never work out. If you go to my website, livemuchlonger.com, I have lots of testimonials from my from Amazon customers. Most of them give me 4 stars, 5 stars. So if you're interested, you want to look like me when you're 51, livemuchlonger.com, livemuchlonger.com. Yeah, still, I'm going to talk about, I don't know. I've just recently have nothing to talk about. Maybe I watched too many TV shows. But I think I had a small dream. I was asking, will Russia use nuclear warhead, against Ukraine, right? And then I saw a nuclear bomb. I saw a nuclear cloud, And then I got another dream that, these dreams are simple, so I'm just going to tell you, I don't need to show you slides. I don't know, there's it's difficult to describe.
Killjoy says, Ring may be immortal for only $49.99, but it didn't come in blue. 3 out of 5 stars. How much is he charging for the rings now? I forgot, because I bought them, but I don't remember how much they were. This is what he looked like when he first started using them, by the way. This was like 20 or 30 years ago. You can tell he's aged. He still looks good for his age, but he's aged. Hawthorne with 100 bits says, I'm sure he looks older than when I saw him. Where's the link to buy them? Order. Let's see. One pair of immortality rings for $40. Yeah. Ooh, he sells other ones now. neodymium rings. These rings are 21,000 Gauss, exactly 21 times stronger than the classic Immortality rings, but foot braces are still more powerful. Oh no. Oh, he sells foot braces for $75. Yeah, that's true. He's kind of a Nazi. Hoikaman, thanks for 17 months. Alex believes he is the reincarnation of a Nazi officer, and that's why he has a flag behind him that kind of looks like a Nazi flag.
Right, but I think it's going to happen around March of next year. Okay, right now it's April, right? April 2022. It's going to happen around March of next year, 2023. You know, I think Russia will use a small nuclear bomb just to scare people, because in one of my dreams it's like this. Okay, I was like at a house with two ladies. Okay, two women. I know this is about Russia, okay, because that night I was thinking about Russia and Ukraine, right? Okay, I'm at a house with two women, right? And then I got.
If we believe in reincarnation, someone has to be a former Nazi. Yeah, but even if that was real, you shouldn't be proud of it. It's like that. It's like the uncle in your family that moved to Argentina mysteriously in the mid 1940s. You just don't talk about him, you know?
I got a strange.
Tube Man says, just got here. Are you watching the Ring Nazi guy? We are.
Oh no! It's melting! My
gun. It's like a plastic and metal, and it's. I asked the woman, "Is this real gun?" And she said, "Yeah, it's a real gun." And then her husband came out. Husband just walked into the door. Right. One of the there's two women. One of the husband of one of the women came back into the house, and then I went up to the husband. I said, "Is this a real gun? You know, is this a real gun?" He said, "Yeah," and he shot it. I didn't hear the shoot. I didn't hear the bang, but then he shot it, and then he shot a dart onto the ceiling. Right, it's a small dart. And then he said, "Yeah, see, this is a real gun." Oh, my friend Sunny is also inside the room. Then I just left the house. But anyway, that house, I know it's about Russia. He's gonna, because I was planning to buy silver. Okay, so I know that little dart that shot up to the ceiling. It must meant that silver price would go up. And then the other dream.
Why does he think his dreams are prophetic?
I saw a nuclear cloud. But anyway, next year's March. Okay, Russia will use a nuclear weapon, just a small nuclear weapon, just to scare people. But that nuclear warhead would trigger a panic throughout the whole world. It would trigger a panic throughout the whole world, and silver and gold is going to shoot up to the roof. The moment they shoot that, they use that nuclear bomb, silver and gold is.
Haven't silver and gold both been outperformed by the market for like the last 20 years? Let me look. Silver price. I was under the impression they had. I could be wrong though. Silver price over time. Could I get a chart, please? 100 years. Yeah, silver price today is lower than it was in the 80s. It's higher than it was in the early 2000s, but again, it's been a lot higher. It's pretty erratic. It doesn't have a large, like, upward trend over time necessarily. Let's look at gold. Like, if you compare this to the markets themselves since, like, the 1930s or whenever this chart starts, 1916, this is terrible performance. Gold price over time. Gold might be better. Gold is better, but still not as performing as well as the markets. Let's see. 1600 up to 2000. Yeah, that's not that great. Relatively speaking, of course. I think it shot up probably recently because of conspiracy wackos, and that's about it.
It's going to shoot up to the roof. So people should buy silver. Like at the end of the year, people should start buying silver. Anyway, that's what I want to say. If you're interested, if you like my dreams, please subscribe. Okay, so I'll talk to you guys later.
So that's what Alex is up to. Oh no.
But anyway, what's up? This is Alex Chu. Coming to you with another episode. This episode, just want to tell you about something really stupid that I have done, okay? I climbed ladder to fix my third floor's window, and I don't know, it was dumb. I didn't have any protection on me. I mean, no rope or anything. I could have killed myself. And I want to talk about how come, I protect myself as much as possible in order to prove that I have invented physical immortality, I mean...
Emmy the Drake, thanks for 5 months, says, "Hey chat, it's been a long time. I've been in Switzerland for the last 2 months with my parents. It's a beautiful and lovely country. You would love it, Hannah. They really like their cheese. You should look up raclette. They were my favorite food. I've had raclette before. It's good."
I don't know. I'll make videos until I'm 70-year-old, 80-year-old, and I still look like this. Hopefully people would believe me, Spend another 30 years making videos. I don't know. But anyway, before I talk about that, I want to tell you my name's Alex Chu. I'm the guy who invented physical immortality rings. These are rings that you put on your small fingers during sleep. You wear them, you don't age anymore. You become physically immortal. For example, I'm already 50. Guess what? In 20 days, about 20 days, I'll be 51. My birthday is February 8th, okay? See, I still look pretty slim, right? You can see my belly is really smooth. That means I never ever work out. See? Never work out, never go to the gym, never do anything.
It's like he thinks, and I know I bring up this point every time, but it's wild to me that he thinks that you just naturally gain weight, as you get older. No, people gain weight as they get older because over time they're eating more calories per day than they're burning, and that compounds over time. If you're not doing that, then you're gonna stay a smaller size. You're not gonna gain that weight. You're not immortal, Alex. You just don't eat too much. Sathura, thanks for 12 months. Happy anniversary. Says, let's hear the name, otherwise I'll leave the birth certificate empty. It's 12 months. 9 months and 18 months are stream babies. 12 months is a anniversary. Hydrate.
If you go to my website, livemuchlonger.com, I have lots of testimonials from the Amazon customers. Most of them give me 4-star, 5 stars. So if you're interested, you want to look like me when you're 51, livemuchlonger.com, livemuchlonger.com. Buy a pair of these rings, okay? They're only $25, Anyway, I mean, all these years I did it.
But it still doesn't have a name. Did we never name your original sub baby? If so, then we will name it Zathura McShelton. Zathura McShelton.
Everything I can to protect myself from danger, See, that's the reason why I don't drive anymore. I don't really drive. I drive to, supermarket to buy food, buy grocery. That's about it. I don't like to travel far distances. I don't like to, suddenly, drive to the club or drive to, go to the beach or nothing like that, Because, I mean, I have a very special job. My job is not like normal people's job. My job is to tell people that physical immortality is possible. You understand? This is a reality. This is not some bullshit. This is not some scam,
For a better look at these, by the way, so you can see the construction of these are literally... I ordered these like a year ago. I don't remember. They're literally really cheap plastic rings with magnets hot glued to the sides. That's all these are. They can be adjusted in size. They're not comfortable at all. They're a hard plastic. See the little clicky things so you can adjust the size? They're awful. They're both the same. They're the same thing. This is what he thinks is a physical immortality device that will help it so you never have to die. He hot glued. He hot glued magnets onto plastic.
I mean, I saw a lot of for example, this one guy, he made a video about me, right? Telling people, oh, Alex Chu rings is a scam. You know, you can see his video if you type Alex Chu and you search for Alex Chu. You can see one of his scam, you know, Alex Chu scammer video. And in the whole video, I can tell he never wore my rings. The guy never tried my rings before. So it's like, what? And I sell.
Someone doesn't have to try your rings to know that visibly you have gotten older.
For like $25, you know. How much money can I scam out of you? You understand? But anyway, I did something really stupid.
You're selling rings that probably cost $2 to make to people for $40. You've probably made a decent bit of cash.
Yesterday.
Not a ton, not a fortune, but you know, he's probably made a little bit of money, if for no other reason than gag gifts.
Okay. Oh, I want to show it to you. Okay. You know, this is the photo of my house. See, my house is 3 stories tall, okay?
He doxed himself.
And you can see there's like a balcony on the 2nd floor, right? My bedroom is on the 3rd floor, okay? I believe that the window is leaking water. So that's the reason why, you know, every time it rains, I see water, you know, dripping on the 2nd floor near the windows. And also I see lots of water leaking into the garage, you know. And this problem has existed for many years, and I didn't know. I tried to fix it last year.
When are you going to talk about the actual title of the video? I don't care about your house.
And I have to move around like many times. I say, hey, you know, and then the ladder. That's like I'm standing on the. You see that? Yeah, and also I was thinking, yeah, what if like I'm fixing the window, right? What if a dog bark? Like, no, that Bible is real. Yeah, I would never do that again. You know, the next time I would never do something like this ever again. And I believe that, you know, it's what happened is the reason why I have to prove to everyone that physical immortality is possible, it's because I have to let people know that Bible is real. You know, Bible prophecy is real. None of that Jesus fly in the air and meet everybody in the air. None of that bullshit, okay? You must understand, that's a dream, you know? Either Jesus got a dream like that or St. Paul saw something like that in his dream. That is just raw material. You still have to decipher the dreams, you know? I mean, I had a lot of dreams of me flying, right? But can I really fly like Superman? No, of course not. That's raw material, you know? Dream is just raw material. You saw.
So flight, impossible. Immortality can be achieved by magnets. Okay.
Yourself flying, you still have to interpret it. Right? Jesus saw, either Jesus or St. Paul saw everybody flying and meet the Lord in the air. That's just a dream. But hey, you know what? The prophecy is real though. Dreams are just raw material. Prophecy is real, okay? All these years, Bible prophecy ever since Abraham. Right? Ever since Abraham until Jesus, they all sort of told people, especially Daniel, you know, told people that one day humans will become immortal. People can become immortal. You understand? This is the reason why my job is so important, you know? I mean, I don't dare to go out and get hurt. You know, I saw one, I used to own a huge ass building in Oakland, you know? Actually the biggest reason why I sold it is because that neighborhood is just too ghetto. It's very dangerous, you know. It's, come to think of it, it's a nice building, you know. It's a very nice building, but it's just not worth it, you know. I don't dare to risk my life over that building, you know, because there are a lot of people are getting robbed, you know. I have a lot of like tenants, you know. They got shot. One of my tenants got shot through the jaw, you know, and then well, he still lived there. I mean, these people are incredible.
And with the flag behind him, he thinks he's a reincarnated Nazi officer, so it's a Nazi flag, but instead of a swastika, it's his name in some sort of, I think, Chinese characters, stylized.
Hurt over there and shit, you know. So that's one of the. But anyway, my biggest job is to really to keep myself safe, you know, so I can prove to the whole world that this Bible prophecy is real, this immortality is real, you know. I know Christians don't think like that. Christians think that only Jesus can give people immortality, you know. But because I'm a Jew, I'm not saying that Jesus is fake. I'm just saying that whatever Jesus saw, the dreams, okay, and the Christian prophecy, those are real. Dreams are raw material, but the prophecy is real. Because I'm a Jew, you know. Oh, I'm not a real Jew, but I think of myself as a Jew. I'm just a Chinese man, you know.
What?
Are real. Dreams are raw material, but the prophecy is real. Because I'm a Jew, you know. Oh, I'm not a real Jew, but I think of myself as a Jew. I'm just a Chinese man, you know.
All right. Okay. Whatever.
But Judaism has a saying, right? If you complain to God, how come you don't allow me to win the lottery and become a
No, that's not Dies of Laughter. If it's Dies of Laughter, you'd know.
millionaire? You know, why? If you complain to God, then God would.
No, I'm not crying. I have to be crying for Dies of Laughter. I'm getting... The judges downstairs are disagreeing with my call on the Dies of Laughter.
Would ask you, well, did you buy lottery tickets? Did you buy enough lottery tickets to win? Right? No, you did not buy enough lottery tickets. That's why you're not winning. Am I right? So Judaism, we don't think like that. We think that you have to endeavor, you have to try very, very hard to reach your goal.
You know, surprisingly, Chinese Jewish Nazi is not on the bingo card.
I reached the goal already, right? I have these immortality rings. I invented it. It's invented. It's right here. You understand? I mean, see, that's the thing. That's the difference between Judaism and Christianity. Christianity think pie is gonna fall from the sky. You know, one day, fucking Jesus and all that shit, pie and all the money, you know, fucking everything fall from the sky. That's how Christians are. You know, Judaism, Jews, we don't think like that. Jews is like prophecy is prophecy. Dreams are dreams. Okay, but reality. Okay, but prophecy will eventually become reality. And if you want prophecy to become reality, you got to work hard for it. You got to achieve it yourself. You cannot wait for shit to fall from the sky. You know, that's Judaism. You understand? So no, I believe this has fulfilled Bible prophecy. You understand? It does make people immortal. You know, so I don't know. It's like, I know people say, "Oh, you're not a Jew. You're not Christian. You're just some Chinaman." You know, but look, it doesn't matter. You understand? This Bible prophecy is real. You understand? And it doesn't really matter. By the way,
I can't let you say that. I know he said it, but I can't let you say it. Just because someone else says a racial slur doesn't mean you can say a racial slur.
I'll talk about,
even if you're just quoting him.
I'll talk about that next time. But this is the reason. I just want to tell people this is the reason why. I mean, I think it was dumb that yesterday that I climbed the ladder, you know, to fix that window. I did everything to protect myself, so I could hopefully convince people that the immortality rings is for real. You know, in all these years, I don't dare to charge people too much money. I only charge, like, you know, the white rings $25, you know, black ring 30 some dollars. My partner did say, how come you don't charge people?
How is that a slur? Because that specific phrase was used to denigrate Asian people in the United States for a long time. It was literally used as a slur.
$100 or $200 for, or the machine charge them $500 for. I don't want to do that. I want people to try it. You understand?
He is Chinese.
To...
He is a man who happens to be Chinese, but that specific phrasing, yeah, it was used as like a slur in the U.S. basically.
Buy this. I don't want to charge people a lot.
Not the preferred nomenclature is a good way to put it. Yeah.
It's money because I want more people to buy it. You know, and hopefully, one day people will be convinced. I don't know how long I have to sit here until people are convinced. I'm already in
Yeah, we watched like a 1930s serial that used that.
20 days. I'll be 51. Hopefully not long. If I sit here for another 20 years, if I'm 70 years old, I still look like this. Will people be convinced? I don't know. Well, anyway, that's what I want to say for this episode. Hope you guys like
Good
my
lord.
channel. If you guys like it, please subscribe. Okay. Okay, I'll talk to you guys next time.
It's always funny to me that, like, he turns off the light and it turns into just absolute darkness, and it just makes me wonder, like, does he just sit there in darkness after he records videos? How does that work? He just sits in darkness until it's time for him to once again film something? Okay, do we want to watch Eric Dubé try and debunk the moon landing, or do we want to watch Globe Busters try and debunk the moon landing? We have two different choices here. Actually, I'll do a poll real quick. Grifter believes it, believes it. Okay. Vote for who you would like to, who we would like to watch moon landing conspiracy video on. Globe Busters is winning. It's a black screen. There's nothing on the... It's because my screen is black, too. Which one is funnier? They're both flat earthers, so... Globe Busters is killing it, so we're probably doing Globe Busters. Poll is almost done. Get your last minute votes in. Globe Busters. Alright, Globe Busters wins. We haven't seen them in a while, so that'll work. Profane priestess buying a vote. I wondered if anyone would. Alright, this is about 25 minutes long. Globe Busters is an organization that we don't cover very often because they only do really long live streams that we'd have to sit through 3 hours of, or I'd have to sit through 3 hours of to edit out the good parts. So, let's go ahead and take a look at what they have to say about the Apollo moon landing and why they think it's fake. Oh, we gotta sit through their theme song, by the way, which is, you know, exactly what you think it is.
Hello, Globebusters. Yes, of course they're serious. You do? You have? No kidding. Uh-huh. Oh, they'll cure your globitis this week. Thank you.
The Ghostbusters theme doesn't deserve this. Agreed.
We got one!
Oh god, they've changed the theme song. This is different than it was last time I watched. This is so much worse. Made it like techno dubstep.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Globebusters.
Daniel Marie B, thanks for following.
What are you?
We get it. We understand. We get it. You're getting your name from the Ghostbusters. This is like the third thing you've done in a row. We understand the joke, guys.
To be some kind of a cosmonaut? No, we're exterminators.
And now, here's your host.
That logo is probably not under fair use. That's probably just trademark infringement. But whatever. I'm no narc. I don't care. Bittergrin says, although Bill Murray probably does deserve this. Yeah.
Oh, that was weird. And welcome everybody to Globebusters, the Impossible Apollo missions. I am your host, Bob Xanadude60, and we are back with another great show for you today.
Bob's the guy that spent $20,000. Well, him and the other Globebusters spent $20,000 on a ring laser gyroscope and accidentally showed that the Earth is in fact spinning at 15 degrees per hour, exactly as we expect with a globe Earth. So, thanks, Bob. Pandanom says, and just like other Ghostbuster media, they forgot the black member. Oh my god, they did.
On a Sunday show, and we will be doing, most of this show from another channel, and I've got...
Is Bill Murray a chud? I just don't like him as an actor, but do I have actual reason to hate him? I believe recently, I don't know the details, so I'm not going to go into it, but recently a production he was on got shut down for some sort of harassment allegations. So there's that.
Got to streaming also on DLive and on Rockfin, but I do have it set up so that it is free for everybody, and the reason for that is because one of the main sources of material that I'm using, which is one of the best I think there really is out there, it's an absolute fabulous movie, I'm sure many of you have never seen it, is called, wow, I've gotten nothing but circles going everywhere. Can you guys hear me?
I hear you.
Yes, perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
I do see a circle on the screen.
Yeah, all of my screens are doing that. What the hell is going on here?
Somebody says your mic is too low. I don't know. I'm not listening to the live feed.
All right. All right. Hopefully that'll be a little bit better. But yeah, I am sitting here spinning. Let's try and refresh.
They say we can hear you, so maybe it is okay better now.
Okay, there we go. Everything came back.
Guy who doesn't understand how to work YouTube discovers true shape of Earth, Mord 11.
Oh, God, I hate it when it does that. It's like, yeah, what a pain in the butt. Anyway, okay, so as I was saying, the source material which we will be using today, a large part of it is from a movie called The American Moon. Now, I found this movie, gosh, about 2-3 years ago, something like that.
Speed it up a little.
And watched it and just went, wow, that's got to be the best debunk movie I think I've ever seen. And I just couldn't believe that, you couldn't really find it anywhere. Well, one of the reasons that you can't find it anywhere on Flat Earth is, of course, as you know, some people that would show this would, I'm sorry, Hero?
Hate us.
Some people that hate us, yeah, no doubt, would strike us automatically. Whoopsie. So let's see. So where is this notification? Anyway, it's at the beginning. I'll show it to you later. Oh yeah, here it is, right here. There we go. All right. So this is what they say. In particular, the so-called flat earthers are warned against using this material in their own videos. Any violation will be promptly reported to YouTube and with requests for immediate takedown. Well,
that's not how that works. Like, I don't like flat earthers either. But at the end of the day, fair use is the thing. They're allowed to watch your video and critique it, even if their critiques are stupid.
Unfortunately, these people don't understand the rules of being able to comment on things, fair use. And YouTube will take down anything from a flat earther on request, whether they're right or wrong, as we found out all too easily when we had material up from what's his name over at what's that website?
It's not because you're a flat earther. YouTube just sucks.
Ollis.com, yeah.
Can we get to you not bitching about them being wrong about fair use?
Okay.
Thank you.
Then so super fantastic. Yeah, a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, what were you doing last night that kept you up so late?
I never did hear back from that sovereign citizen, actually. Weird.
Well, I have a party from a very close friend, a birthday party, and
Let me double check
I
my
miss a little
email.
bit, since the COVID season, nobody goes to parties and things like that. So I'm trying to remember how I used to be a young man going at night at parties, and I forget now I have 41, and you take a little more time to recover. That is why my voice.
Yes, that is absolutely, and 40 is right about the age that it really start noticing it.
A little bit, yes.
Yeah,
I
it doesn't look like
definitely
it did.
Right around 40, and then 50 wasn't so bad, through that.
I don't want to talk about that, man. I had 10 years ahead, so don't worry. I just wait.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm joking.
No, I hear you. It's like, it's not something to look forward to anyway. Unless you look forward to getting old and decrepit, and none of your body parts working anymore, and feeling like shit half the time. And
well, thanks to Cloud Shops, maybe we can change some parts of our bodies, for free, of course.
Yeah, no kidding. God, they really are pushing that little agenda everywhere. It's like, oh yeah, look what we can do. We can make, with stem cells, we can make all new body parts, but they'll never do that. They would never do that anyway, because that would save lives, and that's not exactly what they're in the business for. So it's just absurd how they would advertise that, but whatever trips are trigger. So
yeah.
All right.
So hello everyone.
So all right, and hello here. So on to Austin. What's it? Hey Austin, how you doing, man?
I'm actually doing exceptionally fantastic. So you both can take that one. And it's pretty funny you guys said that, because I've been like wrapping my mind around. I turned 30 a few days ago, and I'm like, I really.
Oh, poor baby. Oh,
it got to me, man. Don't be
my God, get to the Apollo moon mission.
Jesus, it just goes so fast. It's crazy.
Like anytime that you change a law, they found me guilty. $260 fine.
Wait, what?
Well,
so any good news from South Dakota? Anything you can report?
Well, yeah. So they found me guilty. $260 fine on both charges.
Oh, wow.
It was, but I will say I actually expected that, but I just know this is going to be the period where no one's really going to listen to me, and it's okay. But like anytime that you change a law, it only happens in appeals, and it goes up. So it's like that always happens. I don't. So I kind of expected that, because what I did was just challenge the law. I didn't try to. There's a million things like the stuff you text me, different comments, many things, but I just wanted to change the law. So anyway, long story short, they wouldn't let us all in because we weren't. You had to be fully vaccinated or wear a mask. And then I said, "What's fully?" I was like, "I'm pretty vaccinated. I got all kinds of vaccines like right when I came out the womb." And then he of course specifies, no, it's good to be the special one. And I'm like, "What does fully mean?" And he didn't know. I'm like, "How many is that? 4 or 5 or 3 or what is?"
Right now I believe it's with the booster. I'm actually not sure. It's probably going to depend upon whatever their policy is.
They don't know.
2 with the booster.
And I'm like, okay. So they wouldn't let Kai.
Is the 2 doses the full?
Kai and Chris come in with me. And then I go in there, and of course I'm just getting bombarded with their little kangaroo court. And then the government gets to do their whole thing, because of course they go first, right? The prosecutor goes first.
I'm wondering if this guy also is into sovereign citizen stuff, because conspiracy theorists tend to also be into sovereign citizen stuff, which is also a conspiracy theory. It's just a pretty specific thing. Moira Soma says, after the ring laser gyroscope failure, these guys bought an even more exact device for $60,000. It didn't show what they wanted either. I think Globebusters, or at least Bob, knows the world isn't flat. It's possible.
First, and then the defendant goes last, because you get to respond to all the accusations. They have to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. This is, of course, just in front of a judge, not even a jury, which is in violation of the Constitution itself. But long story short,
it actually isn't. The Founding Fathers set up a system where if it's only a fine or something, you don't have to have a jury trial. I believe the standard is like, if it's a matter where you could be incarcerated for at least a year or something, then you are entitled to a jury trial. Otherwise, not necessarily.
She does her whole thing. I have my MacBook in there. They have it hooked up where I can screen share. They can go back and forth. So she presents all her stuff. I get to cross-examine her witnesses, which were the 2 cops, and that was hysterical. And then I was going to get to present my stuff. And she's like, okay, we're going to move to closing arguments. I'm like, what? I'm like, well, it was my turn to show my exhibits and my evidence and give my presentation. It's my turn to give my case. Like, the government rested their case, and she's like, okay, we're gonna move to closing arguments. I'm like, what? So I was like trying to show good faith and be respectful and let them fully finish.
No, one of them didn't shoot himself into the sky. A different flat earther named, I think, Mad Mike did a rocketry thing and died. Austy Wasty, thanks for 5 months, says, Hannah, or rather 10 months, Hannah got me feeling like I'm all gacked up on that whoop chicken. I don't know what that means.
I wasn't objecting much. I was letting them get it all out, because then I get to present my case, and no, I just didn't get to. So that's basically what happened. And you know, there's a lot of things I can do. Of course, $260 and it's cost us way more than that. But out of principle, I'm going to fight the whole way. I think I can pull it off. So, yeah, you know, not the best news. I guess the best news would have been I just walked in there and dominated them. I would have probably been allowed to give my side, though. So, yeah, I don't know. Crazy stuff. And then Chris put...
They didn't let me say anything because I would have destroyed the prosecution. Sounds like a traffic fine. Okay. Everything else is taken, yo. Thanks for 24
Chris
months.
pushed his off. And so then I get to file constitutional challenges through him, which is hilarious. And I get to do appeal. I can also do mistrial. There's a whole bunch of stuff, but there's a bunch of stuff that's on the record in that one that happened that's really epic. So long story short, we're just kind of took our first step, and it was pretty exhausting. And I spent my birthday in 30-degree weather instead of like 80-degree paradise. And yeah, they just a little kangaroo court, you know how it goes.
Yeah. God, that is really pathetic. Unbelievable. I can't. So they just didn't mention it and they denied you or whatever? Because I mean, yeah, you obviously should have your turn to present your case. So yeah, I'm really confused about that. But
yeah, so like okay, so
this is how they think someone asked about the drawing on screen. This is how they think the sun works on the flat Earth. The yellow thing is the sun. They think the sun is that tiny.
She brought her witnesses, the cops. I got to cross-examine them, right? And then I can call myself as a witness, whatever that means. And honestly, playing their game is how we lose in general. Like, this is a kangaroo court. Like, I'm not in a corporate contractual agreement with you. I don't identify as these corporate entities.
He is a sovereign citizen. I called it.
Suppose a contractual agreement based on acquiescence or tacit agreement just means
a flat earther and a sovereign citizen. What a winner.
I mean, you don't tell them no, so they just assume that you're in it and all this stuff. That is the move with most things. And a lot of flat earthers are kind of triggered at me.
Turns out to be a sovereign citizen would be a pretty good bingo space. It happens occasionally.
Because I'm not really doing that, and I wrote a motion with the word defendant in a lot. But, you know, you can just trust me. I did it on purpose because I want to change the law. I don't just, in general, you don't even play their game. But we'll see what happens. I know it's not easy, but it's just crazy. Like I got to say some things, and you could tell that she just didn't want me to get to present my point.
Guys, this is supposed to be about the moon landing. You're already halfway through the video, over halfway, and you've said nothing.
And I get the cops on so many things. I get the cops lying on oath. I get them contradicting themselves. I set them up and asked them tactically, you know, all these questions to where when I presented my exhibits, it was going to prove they lied. And then I didn't even get to show my screen once. I didn't even get to show anything on my computer once. So, yeah, it was really crazy, man. It's going to be epic, though. That's a transcripted court record, you know?
Wow. I wonder if a standard attorney, now that you're going to have, you know, your only recourse is through appellate, if a standard attorney would be any help in that particular venue.
Yeah, maybe so. Like I can also do mistrial. I can file reconsideration. Like she actually she said that the law was constitutional, but she didn't respond to my argument. Both of the federal judges responded to my argument like Globers respond to us, where they literally just hand wave dismiss your argument and then argue against straw man arguments.
It's almost like your arguments are dog shit. Have you considered that people can out of hand just hand wave things that are foundationally false? Nick says, maybe they're trying to debunk the moon landing by presenting themselves as so massively stupid that no human could actually land on the moon. That's the best flat earth argument I've ever heard.
Dude, the judges did that. Yeah. So that's it's like scripted for appellate, right? Because then the appeal sees it, they're just trying to figure out what the other judge did wrong. It's like they literally didn't even respond to my actual arguments. It's really crazy. So I don't know. I think it could be a beautiful thing in the long run. It just sucks. The reason this never happens, the reason that this law has only been changed 10 years ago or 12 years ago, and is because it sucks. It sucks to go through this, to have this dragged over you, where they're giving you all these threats and trying to scare you with mandatory appearances thousands of miles away and last day notice and not let you in without a mask. And they just try to break you down where no one fights them. And so I think we should fight them, you know? I mean, I'm whatever. I'm just going to fight them. Yeah.
I agree, but it's obviously it's expensive. It's very time consuming. And of course, them being in South Dakota and you have to go to their venue. That's weird though. You think you should be able to have a federal venue anywhere. But I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
What was he brought in on federal charges for? Now I'm so curious.
It's really bizarre. They do that absolutely on purpose because, again, the law is designed to protect the corporation and protect the state, and it does absolutely nothing for the common man. And, you know, we just get screwed out of it. And only the people who really have the drive to continue on, the drive, the money, the will, all that move forward. And I think at some point you're probably right. And at that point, I think you should get some damages. And if it goes to that, I would have to say that there would be no one more deserving of getting some damages, and quite a few of them, than you, because this whole thing has been a complete charade.
Well, thank you, man. Yeah, that's the next thing, right? You have the civil action. And I even mentioned that, and the judge's face like changed on the spot. She's like, oh, wow. Because I'm like, yeah, I got discovery one day before, bro. They sent me hours. I didn't get to see it. I woke up at 3 a.m. We had to drive 3 hours to the airport, fly 5 hours, 4 hours, then drive 5.
Auntie Pretzel says this guy.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
I feel like they're not even going to get to the moon landing stuff, even though the title of the video is The Impossible Apollo Missions.
5 hours. And
I think they're just going to bitch about this guy's court case
then
the whole
get
time.
discovery. And I can't sleep. I have to try
After
to stay
this
up
one,
until,
we'll watch the other moon landing video because I promised a moon landing video, and so did they, but they appear to be liars, so...
3 a.m. trying to look through hours of discovery, then go there. It's like, it's all
Stone
ridiculous.
Corbell says,
But
what do you want
I
to
guess
bet
my
that
point
he
I'm
was
making
representing himself and didn't understand the court procedures and that this kind of hearing didn't allow the defense to present the kind of testimony he wanted to? Almost 100%. Cruelty says, poor baby.
Kangaroo court. I'm calling kangaroo court.
Is we live in a really crazy time in America, right? And so I'm there for First Amendment. And a lot of people maybe say, like, Austin, you should have kept your court. Rush one more. Probably. That dude got me mad. The cop got me mad. People were threatening me in the crowd, and I was just kind of real assertive and kind of aggressive, and I would do it differently if I could, and blah, blah, blah. But it's not about that. The law is so bad, I couldn't follow their rules, so I had to make up my own rules. That's not my fault. That's their fault. But it's for the First Amendment.
You can't make up your own rules in court.
Then if you want to actually go fight it, instead of pretending that they just get to make you pay all these things with federal threats, you have to let them violate your First Amendment again to even go in the courts. Dude, I had to get an exception to be able to go to my trial without a mask. And there's a standing order that you're not allowed to go in there unless you're fully vaccinated or you have a mask. And so literally to defend the First Amendment in America in 2022, you have to let them violate your First Amendment to go in there and even attempt to do it. So it's like the principle for me. It's like if we don't do something, I think flat earth is a big truth. I think a lot of people in flat earth are realizing the next step is us taking back our freedom in the sense that we denounce these legal fictions and these contracts and we take our power back with the law. Because if we do not, we're not changing anything. And a lot of people stay closet flat earthers, I think, because they don't really see a plan of action. They're like, well, okay, but you've been talking about it for 5 years. Like, what's the plan? What are you guys going to do? Like, what's the change you're aiming for? Like, what's the plan?
If America is lying about the moon landing, are other countries also lying about being on the moon? Flat earthers tend to believe that there's a secret one world government that's kind of operating, at least that they're all on the same page and that all space agencies are secretly done through NASA. Of course, that's all nonsense, but it's what they believe.
Plan of action, right? And so I think there's this kind of time where if we don't stand up to them, it's going to be really bad because they're not even going to let you come in and defend yourself anymore. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think like out of principle, I can't fold, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, they're already trying to abolish all of our rights anyway, the free speech rights, gun rights. They're trying to kick
No,
those
they're
completely
not!
out the window, anything like that. So that, or suspension of all rights whatsoever if you're, found applicable under some sort of the Patriot and some sort of statute in the Patriot Act, right? It's like, it's unbelievable that this stuff even has gotten into legislation, let alone passed. And a lot of it actually has come in through executive order. And executive orders technically are not legal, but what they did is they rewrote them.
That's not how that works.
Basically said, well, they didn't rewrite the law. They just took the position that, well, if somebody doesn't oppose it, i.e. the House or the Senate or something like that, well, then if the executive order is issued, then it stands. Right? And it's complete bullshit. The president does not have that kind of power, and they usurp all kinds of rights doing that. Right now they're trying to do it with taking over the state's national guards, right, and keep them under federal command, right, instead of where the states needs them. Of course, the states would need these national guards for what? The Second Amendment. Why? Because we are supposed to have a well-armed militia in case the government turns into exactly
well-regulated militia is the wording. Nick says, holy shit, I took a nap and it's already Sovereign Citizen Saturday. Feels like it, doesn't it? They're not going to talk about the moon landing at all. There's only 4 minutes left in this video. Why did they title the video this? So Hair 1981 Call Me Shannon says, I've been enjoying your streams on YouTube and I'm glad to catch a bit of one in person. Keep up the good work. Oh, great work. Thank you very much. Glad you've been enjoying them.
What it has done today. It's just freaking unbelievable. And people are just so asleep. It's so discouraging. It really is. And those of us that see it, we get screamed at and called retards and everything else. I mean, not only for that, but for all these other lies that we see by the Walking Dead. Zombies,
Screaming at the Radio says, so on the
really,
equinox,
really
day and night are the same duration. We can agree on that, right? How does that work with their hovering lamp model? I don't know.
I guess maybe in the afterlife or something, I must have signed up to be part of this. I think all of us must have at some point. And because, part of my belief system does lead me to that I wanted to help bring light into other people's lives. And, but I got to tell you, it's not comfortable. Sometimes I think I wish I would have just taken the blue pill and remained stupid, you know? So
Yeah.
it is what it is. We're doing what we're doing, and, you know, no turning back now. And not only that, it's just wrong. You know, we can't let this continue to happen. And, you know, so anyway, all right, guys, so let's get on to the show. And as I said, that is about the Apollo missions. And so I guess what I can do,
There's 2 minutes left.
I suppose I should probably, well, if we're going to jump into the,
Like, if this is a fucked up stream, why didn't they delete this?
I should probably get off of YouTube. So everybody, let me paste in the link. It's in the show notes already, guys. And mods, if you will take this link and spam it both in the D Live and the...
Gotcha. I see. They're trying to do stuff off of YouTube now because they think they're being censored. That's silly. Where's the...
missions in the 50s.
In the first place. So...
Alright, let's watch the other Flat Earth video. First I gotta pee, though, so while I urinate, let's put something on for you guys. Hydrate. I will in a sec. Here, watch it make deep fried
you
bread.
can deep fry bread. First things first, we gotta empty out
You're
an
back.
entire gallon of oil.
hydrate.
Right on the heating element there. Yeah, that's a whole lot of oil. So then we set the temperature, 379. And climbing fast. We'll try one roll at first and see how that goes. Oh, it's a floater. Here we go. That doesn't seem to be doing too much of anything. Kinda just looks like a floating potato. Needs hotter oil. I've come to the conclusion that this deep fryer sucks. Now take a look at what happened here. And it looks the same. Let's try it again now that it's been breached. This is a brand of deep fryer that doesn't actually deep fry anything. That looks a little bit more promising. It looks like a crouton. There's could have been a bit of crunch. It didn't penetrate very far. Hollow out the front there. It's the Cave of Wonders. We're just gonna stuff this thing full of cheese and a few slices of turkey and one more slice of cheese. That looks pretty good. We put the cap right back on. That's packed in good. After waiting for 30 minutes, this thing just doesn't do its
This is gonna be
job.
oily bread.
That's just taking way too long. Oh, the bucket comes out. It's too much oil now. Welcome back to now my least favorite episode of Ordinary Sausage. Gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with all this oil.
I was promised a moon landing hoax, says Dr. Gamble.
You lie! You're lying! Liar! Lies!
We got this thing on the burner now. Oh, okay. This is now well past 400 degrees and some would say skyrocketing even further. Make me proud. That's the kind of frying you want to see.
Deep frying things is awesome, by the way.
It's like a poop float.
If you've never had a deep fried Hot Pocket, oh my god.
Floating in the toilet. The pot is 431. And this is 281. Depends on where you hit the loaf. I think it's starting to burn. I'm taking it out after 3 minutes. Well, all right. Let's open it up and see how we did here. It looks pretty good. All right. Let's.
Do you cook the Hot Pocket normally, then deep fry it? I tried a couple different things. I ended up figuring out how to cook it long enough in the deep fryer that it was just fine, just deep fried. But you're probably going to want to check the internal temperature. I think all the meats and Hot Pockets, yeah, they're microwave, so they're cooked anyway. You're not going to get sick, but, you know.
Let's give this a shot. The bread is very...
Of course I tried multiple times. That was right after I'd gotten a fryer, which I don't have anymore. But, like, yeah, you gotta experiment with the fry times. Also, never buy mozzarella sticks from the store unless you have a deep fryer. They're never good. Also, pizza rolls in a deep fryer are life-changing. Just saying. Totino's pizza rolls saturated with oil. Oh my god. Anti-Pretzel says, deep frying, the pastime of literally anyone who has access to a deep fryer and carnivals. I'll go straight to you ass. It'll go straight to your ass, but hey, deep frying is fun. It is.
Very crunchy. It's not bad. You know, maybe past 400 degrees is too hot. Do I recommend you doing this at home? Why not? It's a fun little dangerous experiment that can cause fires. We're gonna shove this whole thing in. I realized too late that this is essentially how donuts are made. Well, that side's cooked. Now I have a complete understanding on why nobody deep fries bread. Turn this around on a plate that's way too small for it. It looks burned. The outside is completely burned. The inside is completely untouched. We're gonna mark this one as another NSC failure. I better think of something good, otherwise I'm back to boiling things in pickle juice. I guess that worked. It tastes like oil.
Alright, Flat Earth. Or Apollo Moon Mission. I think this is Eric Dubé talking about why he thinks the Apollo moon landing didn't happen. This is 20 proofs NASA faked the moon landings. Let's check it out.
Between 1969 to 1972, NASA, the American National Aeronautics and Space Administration, allegedly flew 6 successful manned missions to the moon, where they did everything from playing golf to speeding around in a dune buggy to receiving a live phone call from President Nixon. In reality, when examined in depth with a critical eye, however, these staged events are found to be nothing but a monumental hoax perpetrated on a gullible and unsuspecting public.
Look, I understand that the moon landing is devastating to the case of flat earthers, but it happened. Like, geopolitically, the entire point of the space race was basically a dick measuring contest, and by dick, I mean nuke capabilities with ICBMs, with the USSR. If America had faked the moon landing, and hey, I get it, why trust the American government? The American government is pretty shit, has lied about tons of stuff. I'm not someone who just outright trusts the government for no reason. But if America had faked the moon landing, the USSR would have called America out on it and embarrassed America on the world stage, because it was the Cold War, and that would have looked very good for the USSR and very bad for America. There is definitive proof we went to the moon. There is a mirror on the moon that we left there that people can shine lasers at to be able to measure it. Like, for proof purposes. We have been to the moon. Bumble Homestead says, fry bread, by the way. If there's a Native American festival near you, go try it. Let me look. Ooh, that does look good. Ooh, that slow motion fry video. That's borderline pornographic. It makes my mouth salivate.
1. To begin with, the moon itself is simply a luminary, a non-physical light in the sky.
Holographic moon sun on the bingo card. We will go over the bingo card a little later, by the way.
And not a spherical terra firma planetoid, as maintained by NASA and modern astronomy.
It makes my mouth horny? It does. It makes me mouth horny, just like Cheddar Bay biscuits. It makes my mouth moist in preparation for the mastication of the treats coming towards it.
Clear days, you can see for yourself, during a waxing or waning cycle, the blue sky through the moon. On clear nights, during a waxing or waning cycle, it is possible to see stars directly through the surface of the moon.
No! The things you're seeing are craters that might look the same shade as the moon, but it is not seeing through the moon. No!
During each new moon, the moon completely disappears from view, and
We might have watched part of
remains
this.
invisible for that 1 day per month. Even members of the Royal Astronomical Society have time and again recorded their confusion at being able to see stars directly through the moon. For example, Sir James South of the Royal Observatory in Kensington wrote that, quote, "On my first looking into the telescope..."
Yeah, because we watched this part, and it's someone he's citing from like the 1600s or something.
A star of about the same
We didn't do the whole thing, did we?
Turkey, and in the coat of arms of
No.
has long
Okay.
been a popular. I have seen a similar apparent projection several times. The cause of this phenomenon is involved
We only watched this first part.
in impenetrable mystery. A star occulting a crescent moon has long been a popular symbol of Islam, was the symbol of the Ottoman Empire, is found on the flags of Algeria, Azerbaijan, Libya, Malaysia, Mauritania, Pakistan, Singapore, Tunisia, Turkey, and in the coat of arms of countries from Croatia to Germany, Ireland, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Sweden.
According to NASA, this is a rock covered in dust. If that's a picture of the moon reflects light from the sun, yeah?
Ukraine, and the United Kingdom. Nowadays, however, thanks to decades of NASA propaganda, people believe against the evidence of their own senses that the moon is a physical terra firma planetoid capable of walking on. 2. Basic physics proves that not only has man never flown to the moon, but that the entire concept of a vacuum of space is impossible.
No, space is a vacuum.
NASA and modern astronomy claim that the Earth's atmosphere spins perfectly along with the Earth up to an indeterminate height where it allegedly meets the vacuum of space.
It's a gradient, correct. Is this going to be another thing where he's like, how does it exist next to a vacuum? Because of gravity. Gravity is holding the atmosphere to the Earth. Vacuums don't suck things out of it. Okay? If gravity didn't exist, yes, the atmosphere would all of a sudden just kind of disperse, right? I get that. But there is gravity. The Earth is a massive object. Therefore, things are drawn to it, including the particles and atoms that make up the atmosphere.
Anyone who has punctured an aerosol canister knows, however, that a positive pressure system adjacent to a negative pressure system must have a solid barrier separating them, or else they will...
Or a force that's holding the thing to the object, like gravity. The Earth is massive, it has a large gravitational pull relative to our scale of things, like the aerosol can you're talking about. Therefore, it is able to hold it to the surface of the Earth. Renandia Owl says, without gravity, the Earth wouldn't even exist, never mind its atmosphere. True.
Equilibrate.
I was more thinking about gravity just stopping working all of a sudden, which would create a whole slew of other issues, but you know, weird random thought experiment.
Furthermore, at ground level, this spinning atmosphere supposedly travels around 1,000 miles per hour and increases in speed with altitude, so that by 250 miles high, where they claim the International Space Station orbits, the atmosphere and everything in it are allegedly traveling a ridiculous 17,500 miles per hour.
Wait, why is that ridiculous? Have you seen stuff from the ISS? It's moving around the Earth very quickly. Why is that ridiculous?
The speed of a bullet.
Yeah?
This means the astronauts in their rockets were traveling faster than a speeding bullet when finally they popped out of the Earth's spinning, pressurized atmosphere and...
Yes, but they accelerated up to that speed gradually, right? That's kind of how... Oh god, has this guy not played Kerbal Space Program? This is how, like, the dynamics work when you're, like, launching bodies into... and by bodies, I don't mean human bodies, I mean any object into orbit. That's how it works. You accelerate or decelerate until you get to a point when you want to maintain a stable, like, momentum, and then you're no longer accelerating or decelerating, you're just continually going around. That's fine.
And into the...
Motion is relative. Narnindia Owl says, Flurfs are scared of big numbers because they don't understand scale.
Non-spinning, non-pressurized, non-atmosphere of the vacuum of space. Even if they could somehow survive such a transition, once in the supposed vacuum of space, it would be impossible to continue steering, because all propulsion systems require the air in the atmosphere to push against.
No, that's not how that works. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, so if you disperse, like, burning fuel out of one end of something, it's going to push the thing another direction.
In a vacuum, there is no such counterforce, so all propulsion, rather than sending the rocket forward, would instead send it spinning wildly and randomly out of control.
No, it would not. This is why they have boosters on all sorts of different sides of things that they send into space, so they can very carefully maneuver it in ways that, they need to.
In recent years, NASA has attempted damage control regarding this issue by now claiming that the moon is actually still within the Earth's atmosphere.
That just has to do with the fact that, again, it's a gradient, so it's kind of hard to tell, like, what's the farthest particle of atmosphere from the Earth that's still within its influence? Kind of hard to say. But either way, by the time you get even near the moon, it's such a near vacuum, it's irrelevant to the conversation you're even having. All they're saying in that case is like, hey, there are still some particles of what we would consider the atmosphere out by the moon, but it's not like you could take off a helmet or something and breathe. That's not how that works.
But this
it's just hard to say where the end is, again, because it's a gradient.
Doesn't change the fact that they stood by this.
Salion says, geez, Hannah, you say bodies, but not human bodies, as if you've never caused a Kerbal to leave the shuttle and be launched through the Kerbal Space Program atmosphere and into the cold death that awaits them as their oxygen supply depletes. What Kerbal Space Program were you running? Hey. We don't talk about that, okay? My Kerbal Space Program world covered that up, okay? It's fine. Nernandia Owl says, certain aspects of the atmosphere do indeed extend as far as the moon. It's just that the most common aspects end at the Kármán line.
This impossible claim for decades. 3. The amount of radiation claimed to exist in space, especially through the so-called Van Allen belt, was far too strong for the astronauts' flimsy suits. Starting at an altitude of 1,000 miles.
Hey, fun fact, astronauts that go into space actually do have a higher rate of cancer than people who don't. Fun fact. Not a fun fact, but a fact.
Up to approximately 15.
Raven says, science changes, it's fine. No, they must have lied. Doesn't understand how science works on the bingo card. That's actually a good point.
15,000 miles. NASA claims there exists a deadly band of radiation that would kill or seriously injure anyone passing through in a matter of minutes. One Russian study stated that the amount of radiation present on the moon would require astronauts to be clothed in 4 feet of lead in order to avoid instant death. John Malden, a NASA physicist.
I like that he says one study and then doesn't cite the study. Was this a Russian study from, like, 1943 that they were just guessing? I shouldn't say educated guess. I assume they were still just, like, basing it off faulty info they had at the time.
Said they would need at least 2 meters of thick shielding around them at all times. Yet we see them on film bouncing around the moon in their 2-inch thin suits. Even James Van Allen himself continued to state until his death in 2006 that there was no way humans could survive the 90-minute journey through and another 90-minute journey back through the radiation belt without being completely encased in thick lead shielding. 4. Temperatures on the moon
Yeah, 2 inches isn't thin.
Supposedly range from 279 degrees below zero during the nighttime, which is far colder than even Antarctica's cold.
Yes, which is why spacesuits are incredibly insulated. They're spacesuits. Sky Comet Goddess says, launching bodies into orbit, you say. Oh, what's the link? Oh, yeah. Was that just a glitch that they left in the game because it's funny? Why does that happen?
Coldest winter.
That's actually a good point. Are they measuring the dark side of the moon's temperature and saying that that's like an average that exists within the light side even though it doesn't?
And up to 243 degrees above zero at lunar midday, which is hotter than boiling water. NASA claims their special suits were fitted with both heating and cooling systems, but nothing which could come close to withstanding these incredible temperatures.
What are you basing that claim on?
The suits were also...
Like, how would you know? Do you design things that are incredibly, like, super thermally, what's the word I'm thinking of? Not the opposite of conductive. Insulated.
So supposedly pressurized to keep the vacuum non-pressure of space from bursting their blood vessels. But they clearly have deep creases and wrinkles all over. Astronauts in true pressurized suits...
That's the outermost layer. Do they not understand that there are layers to the suits?
Would look like the Michelin Man, bubbling out and very inflexible. Also, it is impossible for the Kodak film in their cameras to have survived these extreme temperatures without melting or freezing. 5.
Again, the idea that they don't think they built special cameras for this is wild to me. It was a mission to the moon! They knew where they were going!
5. In images from Apollo 11, Buzz Aldrin can be seen wearing different color gloves and...
Oh my god, different lighting and ways of exposing the image created different tints to the actual thing he was wearing? Insanity. Doesn't understand how cameras work on the bingo card, which I think we already got, but if not...
Different length boots in pictures that were supposedly taken within minutes of each other. For example, in photo AS11-40-5873, Aldrin is wearing high boots and dark gray gloves. But just 2 pictures later, in AS11-40-5875, he has changed into smaller boots and white gloves.
It's just wild to me that, like, I don't know if you guys know what a script supervisor is, but on a movie set, a script supervisor is someone who kind of, among other things, keeps track of continuity. So make sure that while you're shooting a movie, make sure all the wardrobe is exactly the same, make sure the actor's hair is setting the same way. If they're like on, especially if it's like multiple days of shooting, they gotta make sure that if they're shooting a scene day in and day out, that things look consistent, because the scene, even though you're shooting it over multiple days, people are gonna see all as one thing in several minutes in a movie. So it's got to all look consistent. This is a thing that every Hollywood movie has had for decades and decades and decades, even before the moon landing happened. But they don't think that the Apollo missions, which would be headed by NASA and the United States government, one of the most powerful entities on the planet at the time, and still now, the United States government, not NASA. They don't think they would have a script supervisor being like, guys, we got the wrong gloves on Buzz today. Okay? Wrong gloves. Why do we even have those other gloves? Narnadia Owl says, yes, the Michelin Man with all his important contributions to spacesuit design. No wonder Flurfs can be tricked into believing chicken rubber suits is strong protection. And Auntie Pretzel says, fun fact, we got to the moon using computers that were literally grandma knitted copper between magnets. It was in the 60s. It is thanks to this and the cold era in general that computer technology started to shoot forward over the past 80 years to allow me to tell you this factoid. Yeah.
If Buzz was really in the vacuum of space, in a pressurized spacesuit, he certainly would not have had time or reason to depressurize and repressurize his suit just to make these fashion adjustments. 6. None of the Apollo missions brought any extra studio lighting with them on the lunar lander, so the sun should be the only light source on the moon, and in all
I believe the Mythbusters did a whole episode on this and debunked this thing with the like, oh, there's light coming from different directions, and they explained it.
Pictures taken there. In this case, the light should only come from one direction, and all shadows should be cast in the opposite direction. However, in dozens of official NASA photos, there are shadows being cast in up to 3 directions simultaneously, often at up to 90-degree angles, which can only be the result of multiple light sources not present
light reflected from Earth
on the moon. For example, in Apollo 14 photo AS14689486, the shadow of the lunar lander in the background is being cast at a drastically different angle from the rocks in the foreground. 7. Many pictures purportedly showing the sun, as viewed from the moon, are clearly just studio spotlights and not the sun. Apollo 12 photo AS12
What do you mean clearly?
46, 67, 65, for example, after computer enhancements, reveals a large light bulb in the center of the sun.
Mistopheles, thank you
After
for
being thoroughly
following.
dissected by many researchers, NASA actually removed the high-resolution version of this image from their Apollo gallery. Apollo 11 photo AS11 40 59 35 also shows a conical spotlight effect extending from a light just out of frame that is clearly not the sun. 8. Several Apollo images show a defined separation line where the ground meets with what can only be a studio backdrop. If they were actually filming on the moon, the ground would seamlessly meet the background, leaving no such dividing line.
Unless it dips down and then up.
Furthermore, when analyzed side by side, dozens of images reveal that NASA reused the same backdrops time and again on what are alleged to be completely different areas of the moon. The contours of hills, mountains, and valleys align perfectly when superimposed upon one another. For example, Apollo 15 image AS15 82 11057 shows the lunar lander set against a very unique and distinct mountainous backdrop, which, when superimposed over image AS15 82 11082, aligns exactly, but with no lunar lander, and a different foreground. Another example is Apollo 17 image AS17 143 21 972, showing a mountain in the background.
This one is basically just the moon has hills, and I think the moon's hills look similar to the
with
other
a clear
hills on the
foreground,
moon.
while image AS17 136 20707 shows the exact same mountain, but now with several large rocks and boulders appearing in the foreground. There are dozens more examples of such repeated backdrops being used over the course of the Apollo missions. 9. Computer enhancements of many NASA images reveal photo manipulation and evidence of studio trickery. For example, as the Apollo 17 lunar lander lifts off, photo AS17 151 23201 shows a clear shadow being cast on the ceiling of the studio. Similarly, Apollo 14 image AS14 64 9089, when yellow and blue are subtracted from the chroma scale, shows what can only be studio lighting reflecting off a black background. Another Apollo 14 photo, AS14 66 9306, shows shadows of reticule crosshairs.
I like that he says they didn't bring extra lighting, but in this footage there's a spotlight on the Apollo lander of some sort. Bittergrin says, so this massive conspiracy hired incompetent people to fake the film and gave it a shoestring budget, apparently.
Suspended in air over a print underneath, proving it doctored and not an original, as claimed. Apollo 12 image AS12 49 72 78 clearly shows several studio lighting lens flares caused by multiple overhead lights.
Wait, do they think only studio lights can cause lens flare?
And Apollo 12 image AS12 48 70 71 shows what appears to be an overhead light reflecting in Alan Bean's helmet. 10. Computer enhancements done on images of the Earth taken from the moon reveal clear photo trickery. By gradually removing the hues comprising black from the backgrounds, a bright rectangular artifact appears around the Earth.
Oh, is this the thing where they don't understand JPEG compression? Because I've seen that before. Dahlia Vianney with 100 bits says, sorry for lurking all stream. I never get to catch you live, so today I'm watching at work. Oh, nice. Thank you.
Proving it to be a composite image. For example, Apollo 11 photo AS11 44 66 42.
It's JPEG compression.
When manipulated in Photoshop, shows a distinct separation line where the Earth was added into the image.
That's literally how JPEG compression works. You can do that with any image. I could take a picture of the sun from, like, my yard and do the same thing.
Another example is Apollo 17 image AS17
Same thing, it's JPEG compression.
2471, which, when enhanced and edited, shows an unmistakable rectangular artifact around the Earth, proving it to be another doctored composite photograph. 11. In the original Apollo 16 photo AS16-107-174-46, there is a rock with a letter C.
Oh, the C rock! I talked about this the other day. It's a hair on the negative. They don't put letters on props. That doesn't even make sense.
Clearly engraved into it, as well as another C drawn into the dirt next to it. This is characteristic of fake stage rocks on a stage setup.
This is not true. The whole prop rocks have letters on them. That's a thing conspiracy theorists made up to make this sound less crazy. That's not how this works.
Where the set designer demarcates prop positions, and of course not something that would ever be found on the moon. After being exposed for this, NASA doctored the 2 C's out of their official version of the
It's not that we got a copied version that accidentally got a hair on it. They must have doctored the originals, because if not, it's devastating to our case.
Photo, but copies of the original photo are still available online. 12. In several bits of video footage from the Apollo missions, there is evidence of the astronauts using wires to achieve a more weightless appearance. During Apollo 14, there are many occasions where light reflects off the wires attached to their backpacks, making them momentarily become visible. During the Apollo...
That's a goddamn... Oh god, what's the word? It's like the thing on that is a antenna. That's the word. That's an antenna for their comms, you idiot.
17 flag planting.
How do you not see that? It's an antenna!
Just as the 2 astronauts go to...
Dr. Gamble says, okay, composite photos. Fine, let's entertain this. Where did they get the pic of the ball-looking Earth to add to the background? They'd probably just say it was fake.
Shake hands. Light pings off the wires from the top of their backpacks all the way to the top of the screen. And during the Apollo 16 mission, when one of the astronauts falls over, he is quickly jerked back up in an impossibly unnatural manner.
On Earth? They're on the moon! The gravity's lower!
That could only be the result...
I shouldn't say the gravity's lower. Gravitational pull is lower because the mass is lower. You know what I mean.
...of being lifted by wires. 13. One of the...
It's just so stupid that why would they leave that in? If it was a blooper, why would they leave it?
More obvious video anomalies is how several Apollo missions show American flags flapping around in the non-existent...
They're not flapping. Okay, this has been explained before. So the American flags they put on the moon, because there's no wind on the moon, because there's no atmosphere, they did them in such a way, because otherwise they would just, hang dead. So instead, it's a special flagpole that is not only just a pole this way. Lou, you're in the way. It's also this way, and then the flag kind of hangs from there. Now, because there's no atmosphere on the moon, when they stuck it in there, and they kind of had to, wriggle it in, the motion, the momentum of it being kind of moving back and forth, as happens when you do stuff like that, it just keeps going. There's nothing to stop it. Eventually it'll probably stop, but it would take a lot longer. It's not waving in the wind. Do you think someone on the set forgot to turn a fan off? Again, it's an all-powerful conspiracy that's tricked everyone for over 50 years. But also, they left a fan on. Whoops.
Existent space wind. The moon is supposed to have no atmosphere, and so the flags should have remained perfectly still, but can often be seen moving quite boisterously.
Shit.
NASA claims the astronauts brushing up against them could have caused this, but that is clearly not the case, as the flags stay waving for long periods of...
Newton is just... dying again. Newton is somewhere dying again.
...time, with no astronauts touching or even near them. 14. Another interesting video anomaly is discovered by playing NASA's Apollo footage at double speed, then watching the astronauts walking, running, jumping, or cruising around in their little dune buggy. Without the speed adjustment, there is a quote-unquote low-gravity illusion, as the astronauts seem to float, drift, and glide slowly and smoothly along. but once they are seen at 2 times speed, it becomes clear that they are in quote-unquote normal gravity, walking, running, jumping, and cruising at normal speeds. NASA simply reduced the play speed by 50% in post-production to achieve the desired effect. 15. Another glaring mistake is that none of NASA's
Nernandia Owl says it's like the Illuminati conspiracies. They have to do this on purpose to signal to their brethren or mock the sheeple or something.
images or videos show stars in the background as they should. Just complete blackness.
Doesn't understand how cameras work. Again, they had to expose the shot for the brightness of the surface of the bright side of the moon. If you were to expose the shot to see the stars, then the actual stuff you wanted to look at on the surface of the moon would be blown out. That's just basic shit.
Likely because exact star
Logarth says, it was the late 60s, baby. There was a lot of cruising around Air Force and Navy bases.
maps, as they should appear from the moon, would be nearly impossible to fake accurately.
That's definitely untrue. People at NASA could figure that out if they wanted to.
The testimony of different astronauts on different missions in their autobiographies and interviews just muddies the waters even more. Some of them bragging about the, quote, astonishingly brilliant light of the stars, and others saying that they, quote, don't remember seeing a single star while on the moon. Such inconsistent testimony, and the fact that none of NASA's moon pictures feature any stars anywhere in their appropriate positions, is yet more strong evidence of studio fakery. 16. Any sovereign-minded, critically thinking adult that honestly
Aisling the Anarch, thanks for gifting 10 Tier 1 subs to the community. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
examines NASA image AS11 405922 of the Apollo 11 lunar lander, supposedly on the moon, will see a pathetic 1969 attempt at creating high-tech looking equipment using flimsy construction paper.
I find this weird as a claim too when they're like, the Apollo lander looks so bad. 60s sci-fi. Like, the ability to build sci-fi looking props was a thing in the 60s? Can we find like a spaceship? 60s sci-fi. Spaceship. Something along those lines. If they wanted to, they could build a thing that looks better than that. They had all the money. NASA, relative to now NASA is underfunded, but NASA had better funding back then. It was less underfunded. So NASA, if they wanted to just build a prop that looked like a sci-fi thing, they could have done so. It wouldn't have been that difficult for them at all.
Paper, gold foil, scotch tape, and metal shower rods.
The reason it looks kind of flimsy is because they had to keep it as light as possible. Yeep.
The idea that the piece of junk shown in this official NASA photograph flew to the moon and back is so...
It didn't fly on its own. It was in a thing until it got to the moon. It was in a thing and then it got released, and it's the lander. The rocket looked different than the lander. All the lander had to do was to actually be in orbit around the moon, land on the moon, and then the top part had to get them back up to the actual ship. That's all it had to do. I know I'm understating because, like, it's a lot of stuff still, but they did not fly this thing to the moon on its own. This was a specific piece of equipment just meant to deorbit and reorbit them, and a place to stay on the moon during their actual stay there.
Ludicrous, it's laughable. Most unbiased viewers would assume your average high school art class could construct this contraption without much struggle. But official NASA spokesman and astronaut Don Pettit assures us that actually this 1969 technology is so advanced that even with their multi-billion-dollar yearly budget, they cannot for the life of them recreate it now. I'd go back to the moon in a nanosecond, Don informs us, but NASA destroyed that technology, and it's a...
They always go back to that guy's clip. Guys, when you shoot rockets into space, you don't get them back. At least not until very recently with like SpaceX stuff where they can kind of rework the rockets and get them to work again. Back then, they could not. You use the rocket, it's done. It's done. And most of the lander got left on the moon.
It's a painful...
Ashy Boo says, I feel like he's picturing some Jetson shit, like they flew there driving the lander like a space car.
...process to build it back again. Apollo 11 mission controller Harold Loden was quoted saying, "The skin on the crew cabin was very thin, and that was all done because of weight saving. If you really took your finger and poked hard at it, you could poke right through the outer skin of the spacecraft. It was about the thickness of 2 layers of aluminum
Jamfish
foil."
Epic, thanks for following.
Project manager Thomas Kelly concurred, noting that the skin, the aluminum alloy skin of the crew compartment, was about 12 1/1000ths of an inch thick, equivalent to about 3 layers of Reynolds wrap that you would use in the kitchen. And Apollo astronaut Jim Lovell said, "Whenever I saw a model of the lunar module, it had these rigid sides and really looked strong. Turns out that external portions of the lunar module are actually made up of mylar and cellophane, and it's put together with Scotch tape and staples. We had to have pads on the floor because if you dropped a screwdriver, it would go through the floor." 17. Apollo 11 image AS11 405926 shows a close-up of the foot pads of the lunar lander without a speck of dust on them and without a burn print or crater under its 10,000-pound thrusters, as if the LEM was just gently set down in place by an overhead crane.
They just had to decelerate themselves upon landing. What? They were already decelerated and then it touched down. There's very low gravity on the moon. What are you talking about?
NASA scientists, in their own documents, were worried about the lander falling into its own massive burn radius, yet there it sits, with no burn print and spotless clean pads. Even the astronauts' boot prints made deep impressions in the ground, but somehow the lander's thrust of 2,500 newtons left not a trace, no blast hole, and no dust on the pads. 18. During the Apollo 11 mission, Richard Nixon made a historic phone call from Washington, D.C. to Neil Armstrong on the moon, showing both men live on split-screen TV. AT&T Archives states that the call, quote, went from the Oval Office in Washington, D.C. to Houston, where it was routed into space via mission control through the capsule communicator. Even with today's far superior telecommunications technology, and at far shorter distances, there is a necessary delay, at least a few seconds in both directions.
I'm sure there was a delay.
Yet, when Nixon and Armstrong spoke, there was no discernible delay whatsoever. 19. Another solid proof of NASA's lies came with examination of the many supposed moon rocks given to museums the world over by Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. Shortly after Apollo 11, private investigator Paul Jacobs reported asking the U.S. Department of Geology head whether he had examined the moon rocks and if he could verify their authenticity, to which the geologist simply laughed and insinuated that people high in the U.S. government knew all about the cover-up. More recently, in 2009, curators at Amsterdam's Rijksmuseum investigated their moon rock personally.
Seems like someone swiped it over the years then. Someone probably stole the real one.
Given to them by Armstrong and Aldrin in 1969, only to find that it was actually just a worthless piece of petrified wood from Earth. 20. Not only is the entire video record fraught with fraud, but after years of ignoring Freedom of Information Act requests, NASA finally officially claimed in 2001 that all the original Apollo 11 videos had conveniently disappeared from their records so no one could analyze them.
That's actually incredibly inconvenient.
They would have us believe that they spent over $30 billion, a decade of unceasing preparations, then succeeded in the most historical achievement of mankind, but accidentally lost the video evidence.
Yeah, people are dumb. People are dumb. And also, it takes a lot of work to, like, hold on to magnetic tape stored stuff and, like, keep it from degrading. So, hydrate.
Those blurry, ghostly, black and white images shown on TV were purposely lousy, because NASA insisted at the time that all TV networks must broadcast directly from a big screen display in their operations room, a mandate which all the major networks accepted, and so what the public saw was just a video of a poorly magnified video, and now it is impossible to watch or examine the original.
God damn it. I cannot wait. They're supposed to go back to the moon sometime this decade, and I just need it to happen so these people shut the fuck up. I know they're not gonna shut the fuck up, but at least I'll have new stuff to cover. At least they'll, like, try and debunk the newer moon landing. You ever notice that it's always Apollo 11, too? They never try and debunk the later moon missions? What's up with that? Debunk Apollo, like, 14. I don't know. Why are we doing this? Why is it always the same one?
Not only have the Apollo 11 videos disappeared, but NASA claims to have lost all original audio tapes from the Apollo missions, and that their contractors have lost all prints and plans for the lunar rover, LEM lander, and Apollo ship engines. This is no different than a school child making excuses about a dog eating his homework when asked to show proof. The preponderance of evidence is stacked so high against NASA that anyone who honestly and unbiasedly investigates the so-called moon landings comes to the same undeniable conclusion. All of the Apollo missions were faked on Earth, using a variety of Hollywood trickery.
Okay, I'm glad we're done with that one. Holy shit. The moon landing stuff is annoying to me. Like, if you look at, like, later moon missions...
Here, go for enter. Go for enter.
It's interesting, too, because we do have, like, the originals of these, right?
That's not gonna mean much to you.
And they're better quality because it's later, right? And they figured out how to do stuff better. They never debunk these ones because they look better.
Okay, and standing by for a mark when you roll. 1.7 clicks to...
Right. Although for me, great number of uniform.
Is this just them driving around?
Cross-bedded. If it was betting, I don't think it is.
And as he turns, he skids. The back end breaks loose just like on snow. Come on back, John.
Can we go over bingo? We will. Ernie Owl says it's almost like there's a lot of cherry picking going on. You don't say.
5. Then you can do it twice more.
Like, the dust just doesn't move in a way that makes sense if it's on Earth, you know what I mean?
Okay, turn sharp.
I don't know.
I have no desire to turn sharp. You get the rooster tail. Wheels off the ground air. Okay, Max, stop. Okay, I don't want to do that. Okay, excuse me. That's a no-no.
It's half speed. Okay, we can do it at 2 times speed. We can't watch the Mythbusters thing. I wish we could, but that's going to be copyrighted.
Hey, Max, still are you? No.
Yeah, no, the dust still doesn't make sense. If you watch this at 2 times speed, the dust doesn't act like dust, like on Earth. You know what I mean? It's still too floaty. It disperses a lot in the air instead of falling back down more quickly like it would if there's higher gravity. Yeah. Very cool stuff. Anyway, bingo card and then we're done. We've been going for 3 hours and I gotta eat before I'm going on Pologia's show later. Doesn't understand how cameras work. think that's it. I'm gonna get a cartoon. I already have a cartoon of me. I was on one of Paulogia's things a while ago. Yeah, I'll give you guys a link to the Paulogia thing. Appearance by Lupine. Rachology says, be careful, a lot of these remastered videos are actually just people putting them through an upscaler and fancy frames, creating it to make 4K 60, so it's actually, and so are actually, in terms of original, mostly fake, I guess. Holographic and or fake sun sky. I think that's it. We kind of had vaccine shedding with Jilly, so I'll give us that one. Okay, let's take a look at the link. Yeep. This is happening in 102 minutes, so if you want to check it out, here's a link. I will be on talking about the Florida DeSantis stuff. I think specifically we're talking about William Lane Craig. Yes, I remember the name now. William Lane Craig being upset about Disney. Rachology says it's important because it introduces new artifacts and distortions. Yeah. All right, let's see who we're going to raid. Come to the thing with Paulogia a little later, though. It'll be fun. Well, it'll at least be interesting if it's not fun, because it'll be depressing because of Christians being weird. Surus. Why slep? No slep, Surus. Alright, I'll see you guys a little later. You have a good night. Once this timer's off. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Boo! Do-do-do-do-do-do. Boo!